Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's the Giant Bombcast for Tuesday, March 17th. We're here in the house, in our respective houses, but also in the house.
Each individual house.
Yeah, each individual house. Joining me in the furthest house, one Vincent Caravella is here.
Hi, yeah, I'm in the basement of a house.
Hi.
Yeah, it's under a house.
You're like batting down the hatches in the house. You're under a house.
It's afternoon
But just
out
me.
there.
Yeah.
Yep. It's afternoon. The kids are upstairs. You might hear some stuff going on. Life is happening here. So upstairs, there are people running around. There's laundry in the basement. All sorts of stuff. Life finds a way.
Yeah, it's something. Well, yeah, life does find a way. Brad Shoemaker.
Hey,
sorry,
hello.
Bradley Shoemaker. I'm just reading what's in the window here.
Yeah, that's my
Bradley
that's my,
Shoemaker.
that's my corporate name.
Are you in his
Yeah.
window?
That's my company
Yeah,
given name.
I'm coming up in your window. There was a dude in the There's a dude going around knocking on doors yesterday, and normally that's like whatever, but with everything that's been going on, this shifty-looking dude in his like greasy leather jacket going door to door was definitely like the fuck's going on, man?
Looking for toilet paper or what?
I don't know what he was. I don't know what. We answered the door.
Okay, I have to.
We never answered the door.
I have to make a confession.
Okay.
I have to. This has been bothering me. I canceled the order, so it doesn't matter. But I found some isopropyl alcohol in stock at a tattoo shop supply company.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
And put
You
in
gonna
an
roll
order-
your own?
Put in an order for it a couple days ago. But
Yeah?
yeah.
Get it in. Drink it down.
In the time it took me to get it added to cart and ordered, it went from in stock to on back order.
Oh wow.
So I went ahead and canceled it. But for a little bit, I felt pretty bad about pretending to be a tattoo place.
You can start.
Yeah. Why not? I mean,
stick and pokes are
everyone's got to
easy.
learn new things.
Yeah.
Ben Pack, what are you learning that's new these days?
I busted out my guitar that I brought back from my childhood home. Figured the last time I played that guitar was the class in senior year of high school, where afterwards the music teacher took me in his room and showed me something he called the urn.
Oh wait, go. What were you saying? Sorry.
It was an urn filled with the ashes of troubled students.
What?
And he said, "You don't want to be added to the urn, do you?" And then I changed electives to journalism.
Smart.
So,
Smart
but now
move.
I have this guitar. It's been a long time. I strummed on it a little bit this morning. I remembered one chord.
Which one?
What chord was it?
C.
Okay.
That's the best one.
It's not a bad one. It's right in the middle.
See what?
Oh boy, maybe I remember less than I thought.
Just learn how to strum a bar chord, and then you'll be a billionaire overnight. That's how the music industry works, right? Just get
The
that.
Post Malone method.
Yeah. Jason A. Stryker,
Yes, sir.
how are you doing?
We're doing pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
the family was sick over the weekend. We thought we had it
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
for a hot minute, and then it was just upper respiratory stuff. So as it turns out, we did not have it.
Nice.
The stuff. But we're coming over.
Or at least you don't think you have it based on
Right.
those symptoms. You might have it from
I
something
could.
else.
Who knows? But I've been holed up in the house for like a week now, I think. So I have not gone out. I make my wife do that because she can drive.
Smart.
Yes.
Smart.
So maybe she has it. Maybe she's bringing it back to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I'm hanging out here with my tiny piano in the background and my pink unicorn.
Oh, we should start a
Just
band.
having a good time.
Start an online. All the cool bands are doing it over the internet these days. Jan, what do you got? What are you gonna play?
I bought 10 pounds of noodles over the weekend.
Okay.
Ooh.
I can't
man.
necessarily play them, but I can hand them out at shows.
Great. Yeah,
Um,
that's some fucking DIY like punk aesthetic, like bringing
Yeah.
food to shows to feed people that come out there. That's like Siren.
Yo, guess how much I
saw-
got them for though?
How much? Like $1,000.
$7.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
What
significantly
Ten
less.
kind of noodles we talking?
Chow mein noodles.
Okay.
They look good.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
fresh too. It's good shit.
Yeah.
I'm eating nothing but noodles.
So do they come like uncooked or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just throw them in some boiling water for like 5 minutes until they're al dente.
So you're just freezing those guys?
No, just refrigerate them. You're good.
Okay. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never had 10 pounds of noodles in my house before. I don't know.
I think we've got
You guys washing your groceries?
Oh shit.
definitely
I wiped down the
concerned
outside
about
of
the bags,
boxes.
not the groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say washing your groceries?
Yeah. You know.
Like the packaging?
Yeah.
Oh man, I ain't there yet.
wiping them down. I mean, they're saying this thing lives like 24 to 72 hours on various surfaces.
Oh my god.
I hit him with a Clorox wipe real
Yeah.
quick.
Okay.
If that's how it's
Well-
gonna be, I'm gonna get it. Like I think that's
Yeah.
that's where my line currently is.
That's where I dropped
Is
it.
like wiping down the actual groceries. But that said, the bags, like we got groceries delivered this morning, and I just open up the door and they're all on the front step, and the dude is like standing halfway down the driveway, hands in pockets, just looking at me. We just kind of nod at each other, and I say, "Thank you. Stay safe out there."
Okay.
And he just kind of nods and walks back to the truck. And now I've got a frozen pizza. So that's cool.
Fantastic.
We're out of freezer space. And that's been, so it's like we've got stuff, but also I need to be eating more than I am.
I'm sure we all have dystopic grocery store stories, but real quick, I went to the grocery outlet to try and get some frozen food, some frozen pizza specifically.
Yeah.
And literally the only thing they had left in the frozen pizza aisle were the UFC branded frozen pizzas that are shaped like an octagon.
Oh yeah.
man.
So how many did you get?
I just went with Hot Pockets instead.
Safe choice.
I bet an octagonal pizza is okay.
It's probably
Feels
all
like-
right. It cuts easy, I bet.
It feels like some like Division 2 branded post-apocalyptic content. Like, oh man, all these pizzas are just UFC pizzas.
Dude, I played I finished the main campaign for Division 2 a couple days ago. Like just so I'm in the expansion now. And Division 2 is a really good game for just like I'm just shooting through it and I don't even give a shit what's happening. I don't know. I'm just mowing these people down. Who cares? And then when it transitions from the basically the end of the campaign into like the world tier stuff, it's got this big long cut scene that like reminds you like, hey, by the way, here's what this game is about. And I was like, oh fuck. I was like, yeah, no, the virus is still bad.
You're not the first person I've seen saying that playing the Division right now is maybe not the best idea.
Yeah, so I didn't get too far into the expansion stuff. I played through like the intro mission and was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna maybe go do something else. Download this Plague Inc. I've heard so much about and see what that's there.
Alex and I had to go get some stuff from the New York office, and that office is closed, but we were able to get in. There's security there and everything. But in walks me in gloves and a hoodie, and Alex in a full-on mask and gloves and a hoodie. Walking out, digging through the production studio.
I'm here for some copper tubing.
and a PC.
You're literally
basically-
looting.
Yeah, basically big backpacks, a PC mask, hoods up, and gloves. I've seen this before somewhere. I can't put my finger on it, but where was this?
Yeah. What were the streets like when you were driving in?
So there was no traffic getting in, but the crowds at that location are not massive anyway. But they should have been bigger on a weekday. It felt like a weekend. There were definitely people out and about.
Okay.
And construction workers were all out doing work, but it felt like a weekend crowd, not a weekday crowd. But we had no traffic coming in. My wife drove me in and circled the block a couple of times with the kids, and then drove me out so I didn't have to take the bus. Because we are now officially under quarantine, as are all of you, I guess.
Yeah.
Now under
Our county escaped the like shelter in place order for now, which is dumb. There are 5 cases in the county right now, which is so the further south you go, the worse it gets right now. But yeah, so like we're technically like businesses are still open, stuff like that, but it feels dumb. Like I'm looking at stuff that's open, just going, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? And just like getting mad about it. So, I expect that like this county will eventually join that order pretty soon. But everyone else, like, it's not like there's no fine or anything yet, right? Like, it's not like a full curfew.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
You can
We
get
were
a
reading through
misdemeanor.
it. You can definitely
Really?
get a misdemeanor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For they call it like malicious something. And I think it's
wow.
if you're going out of your way to like go around and do things.
Like what? Like cough on people's mailboxes? Like what?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like loitering.
Well, like, yeah. I guess like at some point, like looting is the thing. Like as more and more businesses start to shut down and stuff like that, you eventually you know, at some point as that meter goes down, the other meter, this different crime meter goes up. So
Have you guys ever seen like looting in front of you, like people full on smashing windows or like?
During
Not
like
right
the Giants parade,
No.
Oh right, yeah.
or when we won
yeah.
the World Series, yeah.
We got the first year the Giants won the World Series. It was 2010. I had just come back from my 20th birthday party, and we thought it'd be a good idea to drive down to the ballpark from Daly City. It was not, and on our way back, we got literally surrounded by a mob of people. There were people on top of our cars, jumping up and down and screaming and stuff. I feel like we're maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks from that.
I've been to a fish concert like that.
I dropped my girlfriend off to the airport this morning, and there were a lot of cops out, like just patrolling around. I think trying to, I don't know if they're trying to like pull people over for being out or whatever, but it was more than I expected to be at like fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
I pull them over and then sprinkle a little Corona on them. Be like, hey, you're got this guy.
You're in a different kind of lockdown now.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, so I don't, everyone watching, hi, we're here doing this. I don't know how long we're going to do this. I feel like every day that passes, like the number in my head about how long this is going to last ticks up by some quantity. And right now it's probably, it's somewhere in the 3-month range.
Did you see yesterday they said potentially July, August before it's kind of contained and back to normal?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. Honestly, with where my head is going day in day out, like that sounds all right. If it's like end of summer, like okay, cool, that sounds better than
never.
A year and a half. Yeah, better than never. Yeah, sure.
Because that's the stuff I was just reading about. Like, you get to the point where you stop the spread, but then you also have to wait out the like 2-week gestation period and sanitization and everything. So it's so weird that we don't even have an estimate.
Yeah, well, it's like then maybe you end up with like weird flare-ups after that, where it's like people go like, "Oh, it's over, it's fine, let's all go out again." And the bars are open. St. Patrick's Day delayed, going, let's go, and then it's like, oh, whoops, there's like now suddenly more of it.
I think the wildest part. I mean, there's many angles that are extremely devastating. The business angles, the kind of human health costs, obviously. But then there are kids who I don't know what they're gonna do who are supposed to graduate this year. Like what the telecommuting and the education. People who paid for college and all of that stuff is just so weird and unprecedented. Like the New York City schools here. Our mayor, you might be familiar with him. His name is Mr. de Blasio.
It's a fun name, but I suspect he's not a fun guy.
It's a kind of not a great name, but anybody would blah in the.
It's fun to say. I'm not saying it's fun for him to have. Who gives a shit about him? But Bill de Blasio. It's like, he's like a bit part player on a season 3 episode of Laverne and Shirley.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yes, he's a landlord somewhere. He said he doesn't know if the schools were open this year, which is like a really tremendous thing. The knock-on effect from that is really hard to fathom.
Yeah. And then at some point, do you have bored high school kids organizing secret parties? So I think a bunch of kids just got cited or found out because of social media because they were this is pre all this stuff. So this is from the old times back before before everything happened.
My gut feeling is that this is like a once in a century event. It seems like when was the flu pandemic was 1918, I think.
Yeah, but like the Spanish flu was in like the 50s or something, right? Which is not like this, but like not too far off.
Yeah, they're talking like this is going to be the worst one since the big flu one.
Yeah. Anyway, like a bunch of kids were like partying in a. So there was the fire up in Santa Rosa, burned a bunch of stuff down. So a bunch of people are getting their houses rebuilt, and they're close to finished. And then a bunch of high school kids decided this looks like a good place to throw a party because no one's living here yet. Let's go. And they went in there and trashed the place. Over the result of, because parties cause damage, right? I mean, I don't think they were necessarily like, let's fuck this place up, but like some things happened along the way. And, of course, it's all on social media. So like they're probably gonna nail at least some of those people to the wall. Just we've all been there. No, we haven't all been there.
Well,
I hope
not
most
not,
of you have not been there, but
not during a viral outbreak.
yeah,
For
no, not during a viral. This was pre the viral outbreak, so
Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
Ahead
This
of
is
the
like
time.
Before
the innocent fun times. So we got to record these stories from what life was like
That's
before.
right.
You know, I got a baby daughter now. I got to let her know that like things weren't always like this. It's just like fuck. Anyway, video games. It's been I pulled news together for this week, and it was there's not a ton of stuff, but there was a real feeling I had of like going through the news, and this has happened a few times over the years as as the real world kind of creeps into things in a more intrusive way than normal, where it was just like, man, I don't give a fuck about any of this because everything else is going on. But whatever, man. Doom Eternal is out this week. Brad, you've
Yeah.
played a significant chunk of it.
Yes, I have.
Hit me with that Doom. What is it? How is it different? Is it good?
You like jumping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like jumping twice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like dashing in the air?
Fuck yes.
Love
Yeah.
it. Blaze Blue.
You're
What's
gonna,
up?
you're probably gonna like Doom Eternal then.
Okay.
Excuse me. Let me switch over to myself here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
natural.
a few hours into it. I'm a handful of missions in. I think if the state of the world was a little more calm, I might be deeper in than I am. But
Well, it's
but
interesting,
also-
because you had said, like it's interesting because it's like some reviews went up today, right?
yeah, yeah, so
Which
yeah.
is weird because the servers for multiplayer aren't up yet.
Yes, that is accurate. The review embargo was a handful of hours ago this morning, and yeah, the battle mode servers are not yet active last I read, so it's pretty much campaign only for the moment.
Yeah.
Was the multiplayer like farmed out to another studio this time,
I
or
don't think
it all been
so. I
run
assume
in-house?
they did it in house, but they're
I want to say they did it. Yeah.
they're promoting it a lot more this time. It's not just the kind of deathmatch like standard team versus team stuff from last time. It's a much more like strategic, asymmetric kind of thing, is my understanding. I haven't got to try it yet, so I don't know. But hey, you might be shocked to hear that I think Doom Eternal's pretty good.
Great.
Yeah.
How much platforming? That I feel like that was the thing coming out of that video that we did a while back. That was the balance of like how much of the. I mean, you've got all these mobility things, so like some of that stuff is cool, but how much of it is you doing like first person platform?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, obviously, I can only speak to where I'm at in the game, which like
Yeah.
I'd say like 4 to 5 hours in. I'm gonna guess a third of the way through or something like that.
Okay.
The video I just put up this morning, I guess we're calling it a quick look. It's just me playing the game at home, but
All right.
there's a lot in that last level that I covered in that video, maybe a little more than I was expecting, and some of it is a little bit fiddlier than you might like. I don't know. I think people are going to be a little mixed on that stuff because there's definitely multiple sequences of like, okay, and then of course this is all in first person. It's like I gotta double jump and dash and like kind of parcel out my dashes so I get the maximum distance to jump to a thing and grab it that is moving, and that I can only
Okay,
stay
yeah.
on for like 5 seconds before I have to make another jump, and I have to like frantically turn around and look and see where I need to jump to next, and it's like a chain of those, vaulting and stuff like that. So I think I'm mostly okay with it. There's been a couple that I thought were a little bit clumsier than I would have liked the first time through, but
Yeah.
it's tolerable so far.
And they sent console, right?
Yes. I've been playing on PS4, so I played the PC version back at that event a few weeks ago. So I mean, I think that's probably the one to play. But I mean, it plays remarkably well on a controller, just like the first one did. So
Cool.
I think that's fine.
Is the PC version going to have RTX support?
I don't know actually.
Big question.
Didn't they just add it to the first game, or did I dream that
don't.
up?
I don't actually know if they added that. I reinstalled it recently just to thinking I would like spend some time with it before Eternal comes out, and didn't see anything in there. But yeah.
Yeah. I think this one's probably harder than the first game, like maybe significantly so. I'm playing it on ultraviolence just like I did the first one, just because I think it's more fun that way. But they emphasize weak points on the enemies a lot more. Like you've got the Arachnotron has like a cannon on. We showed some of that in that preview video a while back.
Yeah.
Like those guys have a cannon on the top that will just wreck you. So you want to try to target and take that thing out as fast as you can. Like most of the heavy enemies have something of that nature. So you're kind of
Right.
constantly trying to manage all the shit they're throwing at you, because where I'm at in the game, like there are a lot of combat arenas, like it's like a very obvious, like, okay, I just walked through a door and there's a huge obstacle course in front of me and it's very clear they're going to spawn like 18
See a
enemies.
bunch of pickups everywhere.
Basically, yeah. And they're not shy about throwing every type of enemy that has been introduced up to that point at you all at once. So it's just this constant cavalcade of shit coming at you, and you're constantly trying to manage it. And, you know, it's got that resource loop, chainsaw for ammo, glory kills for health. They've added the flamethrower for for armor, sorry. And you're constantly leapfrogging that stuff, trying to keep yourself going. It's more of that. You know, they've added a lot.
How do you feel about the story and stuff like that? Is it, you know,
It's taking a while to get going. There's a ton of codex stuff that I haven't really spent a lot of time reading, but they're introducing a bunch of like different like heavenly and demonic factions, it seems like, and there's like ancient kind of alien sort of people going on in the background, and you've got your space castle that you're hanging out in.
Yeah.
And the UAC is involved, and the UAC is just run by demons at this point, from what I can tell.
Okay. Sure.
It's definitely still got some of that nonsense from the first game, like that irreverence. Like the mission objective I just got was like, oh, there's been a flare up at the biggest gore nest on Earth. You need to go there and quell it. And then the objective pops up, and it's just like, go to Super Gore Nest. It's like, all right, yes, Super Gore Nest is yes,
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. So, yeah, I'm gonna
Have
keep.
you been?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, have you been playing anything else? Obviously, you need to keep plugging away at that.
No, I've been putting all my spare game time into that so far.
Cool.
So yeah, I put up like a 90+ minute video this morning. If you want to just go see a bunch of that game,
Yeah.
you get a really good sense of like some weapon variety and you know what the combat encounters are like.
And so,
I'm there
what time at night was it when you were strapping heat sinks to this capture thing to actually make it work?
I ordered the heat sinks.
Okay,
They're
well,
not
so
here
were
yet.
you blowing fans
No,
into blocks of ice
I just ran
at
with
the
it.
capture
I
gear?
just ran with it the way it is at the moment. We'll see how it goes.
I was gonna say I really want to see Doom, but I'm really more interested in the 5 a.m. Brad recording.
I recorded that quick look at about 6:30 this morning.
Okay.
So
All right.
I forgot to mention they've streamlined a ton of stuff. Like there's I don't think they had fast travel in the first game, but now when you finish a mission before you leave, they're just like fast travel enabled, and then you can just pop around like half a dozen different points on the map to go get stuff you missed. So
Okay,
they made that process a lot easier. There's a lot more like hidden stuff and like side activities and like 8 different kinds of progression that I kind of ran through all in that video. So
Cool.
yeah, pretty.
How is the map? Is that stuff easy to park?
It's surprisingly, yeah. Having played other games like Jedi Fallen Order with similar like 3D spinny maps recently, like this one is really easy to read.
Great.
Like the icons stand out really well. It's super easy to. In fact, like they're very generous about showing you where the secrets are. It's just like if you even get near a secret, a big question mark will pop up on your map.
Great.
It's more about figuring out how to get the secrets. It's like, oh, I need to find some hidden switch or solve some puzzle to get to this. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
It's been pretty solid so far. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I really want to play it. I think that's like that has become the game I want to play come Friday.
Yeah.
I think
It's been honestly a nice distraction a couple times when I found myself reading way too much news and like noticing my heart rate elevating and stuff. I was like, I should go play some Doom.
go play some Doom.
Not
yeah.
that it helps with the elevated heart rate, but it's like
It gives
frankly,
you a reason for it.
frankly,
channel it.
like honestly, it is actually fast paced enough that like your mind gets into that just very focused. Like I don't have time for conscious thought. I've just got to react to this game.
That's the Tetris zone right
Yeah,
there.
totally. It's like it's been actually a pretty welcome distraction a couple times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, of course, Animal Crossing is the other game that's due out this week. We'll be picking up a copy of that and looking at it in the near future to see what that's all about. Vinny Caravella, what have you been playing lately?
Oh man, what have I been playing?
Well, Deep Rock Galactic.
What what day is today? Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Holy cow. Not a whole lot. We did play a little Deep Rock Galactic. Was our first time. You were joined me along with Matt Rory and Alex Navarro. There's an archive of that on the site. That was interesting to go back into. I think the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it. Very class-based, very horde mode-ish with a little gather the gems as you're underground, destructible terrain, all that business.
Yeah, I ended up enjoying it more than like, because I played it a little bit when it came out, like a very little bit of it, and really was just like, man, this does not seem like the sort of thing that I want to get into.
Yeah.
But I had fun when we were playing it yesterday. It was a good time.
From my understanding, it's received a lot of overhauls, not only like in terms of what you're doing, but graphically and stuff. I was playing a little bit of it too, and yeah, it's cool. It's fun. It reminds me of like having to cooperate in something like GTFO, but a way more arcadey and less stressful.
Yeah, you can kind of fumble your way. At least the early missions we were on, it seemed you can definitely like fumble your way through that stuff and just go like, fuck, we're all dead. Wait, no, one person's alive still. Hang on. Okay, you saved everybody. Great.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to pull through a couple of those like skin of your teeth style.
Yeah, and I think as each of us kind of realized what our role was, or the class we were playing, it got more interesting. Of like, oh, I have this platform gun, I should use this. Or Matt Rory just had drills for hands, and that was very useful as you plow through a wall. Brad and I played a little bit more Satisfactory last week, and that was fun to go back into and start from scratch, see what the progression is from scratch. They just put out a new update that has pipes. And then when I jumped back into my amazing many hours in factory, they also introduced the need for water in the coal power plant, which destroyed my factory and is very demoralizing to have to go back in and sort that all out. Maybe someday I'll do that. The kids have been playing Slime Rancher, which is
cool.
very fun to watch them play.
Hang on,
Yeah,
do you let them play video games during day hours? Or shouldn't they be doing math or something?
We're on it. So what
Count
I realized
the
slimes. We're on a make money. How much money are you gonna make from this plort? I have 5 plorts. You have 2. So the thing that I realized immediately on Monday was we need a schedule, right? So we do the thing that I think a lot of people who have worked from home probably do, which is you wake up, you get dressed, brush your teeth, have breakfast, the whole thing as if you were going out.
That same ritual, yeah.
Same ritual, and then we do. They sent home all these packets and stuff. So we do our 2 hours of work. We do math enrichment, or reading. We do. There is some iPad stuff, which my son is like totally into. Play some iPad. Oregon Trail style games. They're much better today. They're very good. And then we do all that. We do all of our piano lesson stuff, everything, and then they get the screen time, because otherwise we're gonna die here.
You left one thing out, Vinny, that you mentioned in the pre-show. An exercise regimen.
Oh yes, and then for gym class we're doing Ring Fit, and I'm joining them also for Ring Fit. We can go outside, we just can't interact with people while we're outside. But it's also been raining here, and the Ring Fit's been awesome. Also, apparently sold out. Like
price gouging across the board. Yeah,
I got a sealed one over here that I haven't had time to open yet. So.
Sell that shit.
That's right, 300K. 300K opening bid. Let's go.
I'll take it. I already have one, but I
trade it for a Nintendo PlayStation.
I need it. So I didn't realize that was the case, and I did not buy mine that long ago. I did not get it at launch, so I feel very glad that I did get it at the time. And the kids really love it, and it's a good way to be like, okay, here's some screen time. They enjoy it, but quote unquote, here's some exercise. And then we usually take another break, and then that's my shift usually with the kids while my wife works, and then we trade off. When I come down here and play some video games and do streaming with you. So now they're upstairs, but we are doing crisis mode screen time. Usually they only get the screens on the weekend, but there's only so much you can do. Like no play dates, no like other kids over, no going out to like. There's just my daughter doesn't enjoy board games, so there's just like there's only so much. We've colored a lot. It's
Griffin did his first FaceTime with his best friend yesterday.
Oh, nice.
We just set up the FaceTime and then like pointed at the couch, and he just ran back and forth on the couch and just like screamed, and it was great. He loved it.
Yeah. So like I think the routine and the ritual stuff is going to be important to make sure that we have a structure, we get through this stuff. I'm not worried that much. My kids are in 2nd grade and kindergarten about the academic stuff or too much. Luckily, knock on wood, about falling behind. I mean, let's see if it goes to the end of the year. That could be an issue, but it's wild. So I've sat down and played a bunch of games with them. I haven't played that much on my own. The hardest part, I think, for them in the screen time is they like Slime Ranchers on the PC, and we use the Steam Link. So when I'm down here getting ready to do a stream, and suddenly Big Picture mode pops up, and somebody is selecting Slime Rancher from the PC, I have to kind of go upstairs and be like, no, Rocket League on PS4, you can play that.
So what I'm hearing is that you need to buy I believe it's on Xbox One, the Xbox One version of Slime Rancher.
Yeah, but then I'd have to take my Xbox One down from the attic, which was playing Rock Band. It's a whole mess. But anyway, I continue to play some Baldur's Gate, the original, just because I'm really excited about the new Baldur's Gate. So I think that's just I'm cheating my way through Baldur's Gate 1. Just, put in all the cheat codes that I can hover the mouse over somebody and push a key and they die, which I'm pretty sure is as it was meant to be played.
Definitely.
And I'm really looking forward to Doom.
Cool. All right. Jason, what have you been into? I saw you playing that new Record of Lodos War.
Oh, yeah.
For a little bit yesterday. I've been eyeballing that. Looked kind of cool. What's up with it?
Let me tell you, have you played Symphony of the Night?
I've heard of it. I've tried it.
Little game called Symphony of the Night. Yeah, it's
I'm
very,
aware.
very similar. So it's done by Team Ladybug. Those are the same that we did. We did on UPF. It was like Toho.
One of those Toho games.
Yeah, one of those Toho games.
God damn it.
Same production house.
Yeah.
So and Record of Lodos War is an old anime and manga. It stars Deedlit, and she's found herself into this wondrous labyrinth or whatever, and she doesn't know why she's there. Anyway, it plays very, very similar to Symphony of the Night, in so much in that you even get that crazy backdash,
nice. Yeah.
So you cancel when you land. If you're swinging a weapon, does it cancel out of that swing?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe
right.
so. Yeah, so you can get double hits,
Yeah.
just like low jumping or whatever. So what sets it apart? There's lots of magic available. You get a sylph or something. It's a little spirit guide, little air spirit thing, and that'll allow you to actually hover in the air, and you can actually get some distance, and fly up a little bit, or just like hover horizontally. And you also get a bow, which is not so much great in combat, but is really great in puzzles. There's a bunch of puzzles that are set up to where you have to ricochet 4 or 5 times
cool.
off a wall.
Yeah.
It's
early access, right? Is it?
Yeah, it's early access. 13
game yet? Or
I don't know what the roadmap is looking like, but I fought a boss, and shortly after that, it was like to be continued.
Oh, okay.
So I got about an hour of playtime out of that thing.
Right.
But
what else have you been playing?
Other than that, I finally got into Neo. They didn't send us any code for that, so I had to pick it up on Tuesday. But I haven't had much time. Probably about an hour's worth as well. But very similar to the first game. It's got a great combat engine. So what's different is now you can transform into this like big Oni demon essentially. So you can build up a big meter. When it reaches the top, you can bust it out and then just mash through some shit. But it actually works itself back into combat as well. When enemies do like a big attack, they'll flash red or something like that. And at that point, you've got to hit like an R2 and circle, and that's like a counter move with your demon actually. So you transform into the demon real quick and pop them out of that attack. So that's one way it integrates. But also you get to choose 2 different powers from other enemies that you've beaten. I fought this big like monkey demon, and he's got this power where he jumps up in the air and like throws a spear down. So once you beat him, you can slot his like gem into your body or whatever, and then you can do that attack by using just like a little bit of meter. It's pretty cool. So it's much more than just that transforming bit. It works itself into combat. And it's really getting its hooks back into me. I loved the original, and this one's
awesome.
This one's feeling pretty good too. It's been long enough to where it feels not new, but it's
enough of a break that it's like it doesn't. Even though it's more Neo, that's a welcome thing.
True.
Right now, for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Other than that, like Wheel of Fortune, I picked it up for $3, and I've been playing Wheel of Fortune.
The good shit.
Yep.
Jan, what have you been into?
Yo, speaking about
I hear you're tumbling down some very scary rabbit holes.
You know, I feel like I've learned about myself. I have a very addictive personality to just subjugate myself to like very bad things. And you know, Pokemon is bad enough. And I thought, what's more hellish than that than Bloodborne?
Whoa.
And
That's
yeah,
exciting.
so I never really played a Souls game. I mean, I've watched you guys play it a lot. Definitely watched Ben play Sekiro a lot. And I think I played like Bloodborne initially when it came out for like maybe 10-20 minutes, and it kind of like fell off of it. And I thought, what better way to survive this current hell than to just, you know, go through that hell?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
fuck, that game is hard, and it's completely messed up. And I don't know, I'm kind of like flying by the seat of my pants, and like the weird capture setup I have going on, I think like I'm introducing like a very, very slight delay to that.
Even better.
Yeah. So it's super fun. Like, I understand the reverence, and I don't know if it's weird to say cult like following, because you know it did very well when it came out, it still continues to do well. Yeah, it's a very well made game, and then everything is kind of gross looking.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like weird and elongated and just grody.
Yeah, and then I'm like, as I'm the further I'm playing into it, I've only played it on stream so far. So it's about like an hour and a half in, 90-ish, or a little bit close to 2 hours in. But like it's weird that for a complete outsider, for that game to throw so much shit at you instantly. And you know, I kind of like signed myself up to fill up this block of time for streaming that, you know, I'm kind of like locked down to do this, that I can see so many people bouncing off that beginning area like I did initially.
Yeah, so Bloodborne ended up being my first one of those as well that I actually played a significant amount of and ended up really enjoying it. And yeah, it just something about Bloodborne, like the more aggressive style it has compared to some of those other games, to me just made it work, where like it felt like you could solve your own problems after a while. It's like, no, you get in that ass and you fuck that dude up. And like,
so that's the thing. I think my most recent experience watching a Souls game is watching Ben play Sekiro, and like
watching me fail against the last boss for 3 hours at a time.
Yeah, but you know, like the best advice you've gotten is to get in that ass and like be aggressive. And I don't know if that is like the same mentality I should be approaching Bloodborne, but like I've been doing that versus like, you know, kind of hanging back a bit, and it's been okay.
I was pretty impressed. You were doing fairly well for a complete, you know, newbie. I was watching the stream a bit.
It's that Kingdom Hearts training, man.
Yeah, another combat heavy, definitely.
Precise,
demanding precision,
very precise. Other than Bloodborne, which I think I'll stick with until like my heart gives out.
There's like there's a hump to get over, I guess, with that game. Like at first it just seems hard and fucked up, and then eventually you'll realize it's like hard and methodical. Like there's a method to how hard it is, and you'll kind of get in the groove.
I feel like I've definitely got to a point with Bloodborne where I was like, no, this game is extremely fair.
Yes, yes, hard, tough,
unlike some of the Souls game, or you know, unlike my impression of some of the Souls games from the time I spent with them, I was like, no, this game, like, it's explicit about everything it's doing.
Which, to like some of its charm, a lot of people like the Souls games because they're weird and unfair in certain ways. But I do prefer that kind of.
If I want like random shit
to
like poke out from around a corner and fuck me up, like I'm gonna go play someone's bad Mario Maker levels. That's
right. It's that one kind of thing where every time you die, it's the kind of game where if you die, you want it to be your fault.
Yeah. I've definitely. It has been my fault because I get caught up in a corner or whatever, or like I let a couple people surprise me. Yeah. Other than that, dipping my feet into a different hell that is Grand Blue Fantasy.
All right,
don't do it.
So what is okay? Are you playing it on a
tutorial's
phone?
great in that. Like, no. How much of
Jason? No,
Jason. He's
what?
not playing Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. He's playing Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Damn.
Yeah, you know, I popped in with you guys when the fighting scientists were playing it last week. It's like, wow, this game looks great. This is fun.
You said you were having a great time. You picked Charlotta. She was on the apple box.
I know. I identified. I was like, she stands on an apple box. I stand on an apple box. This is great. And I thought, like, wow, everyone looks so pretty. This has to have come from somewhere. And then again, I looked into like my DMs on Twitter, and someone said, "Hey, you said you wanted to play this. Here's a link. Just use your browser, buddy."
God damn it!
We need to put the person who taught you that in prison.
It was like 3 people. And then yeah, I've been plugging away at that.
How are your rolls, bro?
So I've been experimenting with like trying to capture desktop or like Chrome browser stuff, and for whatever reason OBS is kind of weird. So I've been like restarting a lot with that. So I haven't gone too deep just yet past the tutorial, but hey, those JPEGs look nice.
It's nothing like a nice JPEG. I like a ping here and there personally.
Oh
yeah.
Got to keep it
What are you gonna
lossless.
do? Yeah. Ben, what have you been doing? I understand that your PC is actively on fire.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, we need
Well,
to talk about this.
So I was going really hard on Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the new Ori game, and I got to about 60% completion, and I started out loving that game, and it's honestly just getting better and better. The more I play, the more upgrades you unlock. They really give you like 90% of what you had in that first game in the first 4 or 5 hours. And from that point on, it's all new stuff. And that new stuff is really phenomenal. Specifically, people who have gotten to the desert part, the kind of sand traversal ability you've gotten, I think is maybe one of the coolest things in a platformer I've played in a long time. The movement just feels really nice. You can incorporate it into the combat. And the combat, like that's just gotten so much, it's gotten really strong. Brad, you mentioned kind of when we were watching you play that preview footage you took way back when, that when it was clicking for you, it almost had like a DMC feel to it.
Yeah, a lot of juggles, a lot of dashing around, like a very precise feel, like everything's got a good weight to it.
Yeah, exactly. And so kind of the more I started paying attention to that and the less I tried just mashing, it started clicking into place even better, because you've got like a heavy attack, and if you do an upwards heavy attack, that's going to knock both you and your opponent up into the air. Like the momentum will carry you up. And so it's like I knock a dude up into the air, and I place a turret that's going to hit any nearby target, so it starts wailing in on him. And then I start hitting with my light attack in midair, which kind of keeps you airborne for a little while, and then you can like do a ground pound. There's just so many combos in that game. Yep. They really made the combat feel good in a game that was not really known for its combat.
Yeah, the combat was so kind of throwaway in the first game. You just sort of mashed it out. In this game, like, if anything, it all seems very intentional to me, because as I click my portrait, they so reliably punish you for just mashing it out in this game. It almost feels like your combos, if you just bang on the button, are timed specifically to leave you open.
Definitely.
For attack, if you just go that route. So you like have
and a lot of enemies will just blow through your attack. Like there's not a lot of knockback necessarily. Like you can't stun lock enemies. And yeah, I was having a really, really good time with it. And now I don't have a PC anymore.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Pour one out.
Basically, I was having some crashing issues. Tried to resolve that. Figured it might be a RAM issue. Working on getting some new RAM in.
Yeah, that's
move some memory around, and now we're not posting, and we're not sure why.
Yeah. So bad time for that to happen.
Yeah. For sure.
But honestly, it had been a problem. Like the crashing was getting worse and worse, and it's like I eventually would have to do something like this. And why not do it when I'm home and can put all of my attention into it? And I'm learning a lot about computers.
Yeah, you
nice.
You guys know about power cycling?
Yeah, you learned how to
you turn it off back on.
Ben learned how to reset his CMOS the other day.
Yeah.
Have you tried a new power supply? I know there's probably a million people being like, try this, but I feel like it's always the power supply. That's
in the coming things. So right now, basically, will start to boot, the little fan on the motherboard will. Also, I learned what all the different parts of my computer were, even though I bought them.
Nice.
But just being able to like point at them, the motherboard fan starts to spin and then stops and then starts and then stops.
So he's pretty much exclusively crashing to desktop. He's not having any like rebooting issues, which is like I lost a power supply a few years ago, and that's how it manifested. Was every time I played a game, the PC would just spontaneously reboot itself. And he's having a lot more just straight up like software crashes to desktop, but Windows stays up. So
Yeah.
I ran it by Will Smith. We both thought, because he's on an AMD system, and those are so temperamental about the type of memory that they use that we thought it might be a memory issue, but then now it doesn't boot. So
Okay, what about this totally uninformed opinion? What if it's when you're deep in a game or it's something that's drawing more power to the video card, is when the video card causes the application to crash to the desktop?
could maybe it's hard to say.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Tough
What do you
to
like?
say.
How do
I
you
like it.
that?
I like
I
it.
like
Tough
that.
to say.
But now
Well,
we'll
I got
post
some
it
new
all.
memory.
So.
I got some new memory coming in a couple days. If that doesn't work, I've got a
Power
list of
supply
things
next,
that could
yeah.
be power supply, motherboard. We'll see. But just during this podcast, I remembered that Ori is on Game Pass, and so I might just go download that onto my Xbox.
That reminds me. So I haven't played the Steam version of Ori, but how is Microsoft handling Steam versions of these games with respect to like save transfer?
If it's
and
like
achievements
like
and stuff?
Gears, that stuff does. Well,
I don't-
so
I don't
the
think
Steam
save
versions do have you log into your Microsoft account. And you do get achievements. I think it still has that stuff.
Okay. But save, I'm mostly wondering if he'd be able to like move his save over to the Xbox.
To Steam,
I'm guessing probably no. If I had
I
to-
don't think.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember what Gears 5 did because that's the only other one that I've done this with. And I want to say that Gears 5 did not transfer campaign progress.
I think that's right.
The multiplayer rank and stuff stayed because that stuff was all server side and tied to your Xbox account or whatever. So if you were playing on Steam, so
Yes.
you might have to replay Ori. But
Yeah.
hey, good news,
Yeah.
Ori's all right.
Boy, but that Stadia account looking a little more appealing now,
Nope.
huh?
I just got a code for a hot new Stadia game this morning called The Division 2.
Ooh. And then real quick, other than that, a little bit of a lot of things, but I've been going down the dark path of getting really, really into Apex, playing through competitive, learn like just the most I've ever gotten into a first-person shooter. I won 3 games this morning.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
So I'm at least getting okay at it, but it's a dark path. I've almost plugged my snowball into my PS4 so I can ask, why the hell are you guys leaving? Why aren't we going to the drop zone that you marked? And then you're going somewhere. Do you want? But
Play
no.
your class. Play your fucking class.
Play the objective.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. I have been playing a little bit of a game called Round Guard, which is on Steam. I think it might also be on Switch, but I'm playing it on Steam. It is what if they took Peggle. Everyone loves Peggle.
I love Peggle.
And they made it a run-based roguelike.
Okay.
That
sounds good.
So
That's
you
every
pick a-
video game now. So
Yeah. So that's and that's the game basically.
Does it play Ode to Joy every time you have to start over? Or is
Sadly,
it-
no. It's
Okay.
it's missing that good part of it. Actually, I had the sound down now that you mentioned it. I should go check. So they turned Peggle into a roguelike. You pick a character class, and as a member of the Round Guard, your ball that you're shooting is your character. So it's this little dude with an axe. That's if you pick warrior, you can pick spellcasters and whatever. And basically you'll have like a mana stat, a health stat, and an attack stat, and there will be enemies on the board along with pots that when you break those you get gold and health and mana potions. So every time you hit an enemy, you trade damage. They do an amount of damage to you, and you do an amount of damage to them. And so you need to get the health potions to keep your health up. You need to, you have some active abilities that you use the mana for, and it's neat. And then at the end of it, so after you finish the level, multiple pathways at the bottom will open up with a little signpost next to them indicating what the next area looks like. So you can kind of aim to say, oh, I want to go this way on the map for the next encounter and try to go in different directions that way. And, they've got active abilities like you spin through some items. So if you want to hit an enemy that's on the other side of some pots, you can hit the spin attack to travel through the items and attack the enemy directly that way and stuff like that. It's got some neat ideas. The writing is at least a little charming. They're trying to write it as it's like a stage production, and you're auditioning for the role of playing the round guard. And we'll probably stream some of it at some point this week.
It's purely run based? Like you die and you just completely start over? Is this?
I haven't died yet, but yes, my understanding is that when you die, you die.
Okay,
and you go back to the start. And
you go back to the start, and I think you carry over like one of your items or something like that.
Yeah, it seems like that. You have slots for 2 active abilities, and you eventually can unlock armor and items and stuff like that. That'll increase your stats. So I think some of that stuff will. Yeah.
Somebody did something similar to this with Sudoku recently. I think I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Murder by Numbers.
No. I should look it up.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's on Switch.
It's called like Sudoku Quest or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it's kind of like it's like Puzzle Quest but Sudoku sort of thing.
Sudoku Crossing.
But I almost checked it out, but I saw a bunch of people saying that the puzzles are so goddamn easy that it kind of defeats the purpose. So.
Oh well.
But that's out there. I can't remember the name of it.
That sounds like a neat idea.
Yeah,
I would probably want to take a look at that anyway. And I still need to check out Murder by Numbers, which is like a pick cross.
I've gotten good at nonograms.
Yeah, love to nonogram, live to nonogram.
I
am almost done. Speaking of
I'm sorry, real quick. It's I believe it's PictoQuest.
Okay,
that's the name of it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I heard the name going around. Yeah. I am actually. Let me check. I think I am 96% complete with that Konami Picross game.
Hey,
oh shit!
Yeah, Konami Pixel Puzzle. Let me. How do I get out? And I'll tell you. 95.4% complete in Konami Pixel Puzzle Collection. So, getting ready to wrap that up, and I'll be sad when that's all done. They patched it just like recently, but I don't know. Maybe it unlocks an upside down castle or something like that when you beat it. Who can say? And then I've been playing Call of Duty Warzone more since we talked about it on the Beastcast. And today they just sent out a press release as we were getting going, saying that they are adding a solo mode to it, which is great because I had been playing solo mode all along. But occasionally encountering full teams. So it's 3-person teams by default, but there's a don't fill your squad option. And I feel like I'm not the only one out there that is just doing that.
I saw people in chat saying similar things, that they were just doing it solo anyway.
Yeah. And I've had a couple of cases where I've wiped an entire team alone and been like, yeah, that's fuck you guys.
Not in solo mode. You haven't played solo mode yet.
No, solo mode just rolled out today. So which I will now switch to that. That sounds like that is probably the best. That is the way I want to play that game for sure. Because when I was playing with strangers, you would have like the dropping's not coordinated. I know we said on this show last week, based on some of the leaks, that it sounded like it had a jump master, but no, it has a squad leader. But you do not automatically jump with that squad leader. They just get to mark a position, I think, before you drop, which is like, that's like, who cares? So some of the silent kind of team building stuff is not as good as Apex for sure. And it'd be nice to see them kind of do better.
Do what Fortnite did and just steal all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because Fortnite is about to add a jail any day now. So that's kind of the other cool thing is when you die in like, let's say like the first 2/3 of the match, the gulag is still open, so you can go there and fight your way out in like a 1v1 Rocket Arena style gunfight battle, and the winner gets to respawn. And then your teammates can also buy you back if they go to you earn money and you go to a buy station, and so you can respawn a teammate if you have enough money to do so. And it's weird. I don't know. Like the time to kill when players are wearing armor is weird, but now that I'm playing more of it and getting used to that, it's I'm having a better time with it. But I'm still just kind of feeling it out and going like, this is interesting. It has some really neat ideas with the gulag and some of this other stuff. But like, I don't think it's as good a game as Apex, but like it's new and I'm having a good time fucking around with it. And I would not be shocked if they eventually added more to it and fixed up some things to the point where you go like, oh, actually, this is maybe on par with Apex now. I could see them getting there. Also, it's the battle pass I'm currently working on, so I've definitely been wanting to get some fucking XP and do all that stuff.
Jeff, you mentioned or on the Beastcast that Warzone is separate than the main game. You can get it separately, but it's also in the main.
Yeah. So if you own Modern Warfare, it patched, and now Warzone is in there as just an item on the menu, the same way the co-op and campaign are. If you don't own any version of it, you can go download Call of Duty Warzone from the console stores, and I assume it's on BattleNet that way also.
Here's something
that is
interesting.
A free download. That's still so like I don't own the game on Xbox, but I was able to download Warzone on Xbox, and it pulled in all my stuff. I can't play the campaign or the competitive multiplayer there, but I can still work on the same cross-play character, all that other stuff. So
even your battle pass?
Yep, it's all there.
Okay, cool.
Random aside here, Doom on the PS4 is split up similar to the way Call of Duty was.
Oh, with like weird, like 9 different downloads.
Like I believe, if I'd have to double check, I believe there was like a base game download, and then like Doom Eternal campaign was a separate download.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
That seems like that seems like something that the current consoles are not well built to handle.
Yeah.
But it's how this stuff is going to work in the next generation. So, that's probably smart of more developers to just get used to like thinking about their games that way, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, I will spend some more time with Warzone. I think it's interesting. We should stream some of it at some point. But
yeah, I want to try it. That gulag stuff sounds neat.
It's a cool idea. There's a video there's a story on Kotaku talking about some of the dumb stuff you could do in the gulag. So like old Rocket Arena, the mod for Quake, spectators form a ring around the battle. And unlike Rocket Arena, you can actually kind of you have rocks because you're prisoners. So you have rocks that you can throw into the arena. And if a player is trying to throw a rock at one of the players that's fighting, the other player in the arena might see where that rock is going. Oh, he's over there. But also, apparently, the rocks will like trigger claymores and other explosives. So there's videos or animated GIFs of like people blowing each other up. Or both players getting killed by a claymore that one of the players who isn't even in the battle is activating with a rock. And that's fucking great. So
it's like there's like so many levels on that thing that are just like, wow, that's really, wow, that's messed up, and like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's elaborate and strange and pretty fun.
Have we done a Mario Van Peebles solo joke yet? There's been so many things that we've done Crossco stuff on, and I can't remember now.
I'm gonna say probably not here today, but with this,
I just want to cover our bases.
Yeah,
make sure,
just prepare to go solo. There you go. All right,
there you go. Okay,
we're in. We're done. We're in there.
Guns don't kill people. Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Well, with that, why don't we take a quick break and we'll get back. We'll talk about the news. Yeah. So everybody, stay tuned. Stay here. We'll be right back. And we're back. Hi, everybody. Let's get into the news.
Anything big happen?
Not,
Lately?
Yeah.
What's up?
They announced the specs for the Xbox Series X.
That's big.
They put out a pile of stories over at Microsoft, and then also they flew Digital Foundry out to take a look at a bunch of demos.
Oh, cool.
And I found that story to be a lot more interesting as they kind of pull it apart and kind of assess some of this stuff. Hey, it's got 12 teraflops. It's kind of what they've
They've been kind of
been
shooting,
saying.
for that for a while.
16 gigs of RAM, GDDR6. But the Digital Foundry story gets into how the RAM is set aside or set apart for what's going to be great for the GPU versus what's kind of a more of a CPU RAM, how much the OS is going to take up, that sort of stuff.
Sounds like only 10 gig of the memory is GPU appropriate.
Yeah.
GPU specific. But
also that they are spooling a lot of stuff off to the hard drive that is very quickly accessible to. I think like one of the things here that I've seen people latch on to that I thought was interesting, and I guess I kind of expected this would be how it would go, is that rectangular port on the back of the system that we talked about. That is going to be used for basically expanded storage.
Yeah.
They'll sell a 1 terabyte add-on that you can plug into that port. It's PCI Express 4.
Memory cards are back.
Memory cards back up in it. So it's like a drive expansion slot, more or less. And as a result, it's not something you already own. It's not something that works with other gear.
It's
proprietary. Oh, there we go.
Well, the tech is not like the underlying.
The
bus and the I assume the interconnect are probably just off the shelf, but the form factor, I think the way they're selling it and like what will fit in that slot is proprietary.
Yeah,
Sounds
which
like
that.
the case.
Yeah, so that might be the case. Maybe we'll know more. Hey, maybe Sony's got some stuff to say that says like, oh yeah, we're using those too.
Remember the Vita?
Well, yeah.
Did I see a Seagate logo on the one they showed?
They have teamed up with Seagate, makers of reliable hard drives.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What's up with Seagate?
Well, Seagate, I've certainly lost a handful of Seagates in my day. Probably more so than other drives.
So did they say what the base storage in the actual console is going to be?
1 terabyte.
1 terabyte, okay.
Yeah.
So 6 games.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, actually, I mean, if they are managing install sizes more piecemeal and more intelligently, then maybe you'll be able to fit more games in there. Who knows?
Sure, yeah. Like if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm done with this campaign, I'm never going to play it again. Like Call of Duty right now is taking up a ton of hard drive space on 3 different machines in this room.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to touch the campaign again. So, the ability to uninstall that, it's not nothing. But I think the thing people are kind of getting hung up on that I thought was interesting is so yeah, it comes with a terabyte. You can get a 1 terabyte expansion card if you want to expand it to, and that terabyte will behave as the internal storage does because it's hooked up to all the same bus and all the other stuff. I think where people are looking at it and going like, wait, that sucks, is like, yeah, you can hook an external USB drive up to this, but you will not play Series X games from that drive.
I mean, it was always going to be this way. This is just kind of the cost of progress. Like that's just there's not really a good way around it.
Yeah, and I think like I look at it and go like, yeah, that's going to make everything more expensive. Like we'll see how much this terabyte expansion card is. And that's not a maximum. That's what they're saying right now. But down the line, there could very well be larger expansion cards for the Series X.
Oh, I assume they would have.
If I understood correctly, you'll still be able to play everything from Xbox One and previous off of a USB hard drive.
That's my understanding. Is that so you can use that external drive for any kind of backwards compatible stuff that you want to run because it's not necessarily expecting the fast storage that the Series X games will basically expect.
So Jeff, what's the internal? I'm sorry, I think
1 terabyte. It's the NVMe SSD. It's custom, is what they are saying.
So they'll all ship with the 1 terabyte, and then then they're offering at launch these 1 terabyte memory sticks.
That's the understanding. Is that that'll be something that they make available at launch.
They also said at some point they're trying to scale assets, right, for the Xbox Series X games and the Xbox One games.
They talk a fair amount about what they call smart delivery, and that's I think that means a wide variety of things. Like hey, they're going to download the Series X version if you have a Series X, but they're not going to download those Series X assets to an Xbox One X,
right?
For example. So that's something that they have done. When it came to what textures are you going to download on the Xbox One X versus an Xbox One S, those are potentially different downloads in some cases. So I would presume that they would keep that going forward, so you're not necessarily downloading textures you don't need.
Right.
Right.
I hope so.
But yeah, like, you know, the textures are going to get big anyway. There's a lot of interesting stuff in the Digital Foundry story, breaking down like just how they found ways to get more power than it might seem. And this is all, of course, you know, based on their reporting, and they've got a long video up that I think is worth watching. You know, they talk about some of the ray tracing solutions, and they saw, you know, basically like the Coalition and Epic took a couple weeks to port Gears 5 with some minor stuff, and basically got it looking like it looks on the PC without much work and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think they said even that quick and dirty port was turning in performance similar to like a Ryzen 3700X and a 2080 or somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Pretty
so
impressive.
yeah, so you know, it's like if you look at the numbers, you go like, okay, those are impressive, I guess, but then it really seems like they spent a lot of time thinking about like smarter ways to handle this stuff and smarter ways to save time with like, oh, well, you know, there's some bits in here about like, oh, well, we don't have to load the entire shader in if the whole thing isn't going to be visible on screen. So how do we save some memory here by only loading in what we need? And so some of that intelligence seems like it'll kind of help, you know, squeeze more power out of this thing than even the stats indicate. So I look at this stuff.
A little bit of the stuff I've read is that the SSD is very relevant in that domain too. Like they're able to avoid having to load as many graphical assets into memory because they can map them straight from the storage and stream them in and out and stuff like that.
So I think that's the stuff that when I see people saying like, I can't believe that I can't just plug a USB drive into this thing. It's like, no, that's for them to get the performance and power. Like if you want to buy the powerful console, like this is kind of how
this is part of it.
They're going to go about it, and that's how they're going to get that power.
I think it's pretty analogous to like when Apple makes one of these painful connector changes, and everybody's mad because they have 10 years worth of accessories based on the 20-pin iPod connector or whatever.
Yeah,
and then eventually you get there and you're like, okay, the Lightning connector is 1,000 times better. Like now I get why they had to do.
But
that.
also there was no user, like it didn't make it that much better for users. Like the Lightning connector change.
That's
like
smaller,
over time,
it's reversible. It's much sturdier. It's easier to. It's harder to break. Like
I feel like it really I'm replacing a Lightning cable.
There are upsides
once
there
a month at this point, but
it's not a one to one. Pricing is. Yeah. Like if it's proprietary, they don't allow third parties to manufacture this product, and they just control the chain on it, and the pricing is insane. Then it's gonna suck. Like when you had to buy those Xbox 360 hard drives from them, remember the things that slotted in or whatever? Like that's
it's not great.
Like, I'd get it. But like
the price per gig was terrible.
Sure, but also the thing about those Xbox hard drives is that really was just a custom connector. So for an existing drive. So and it was just a hard drive.
I busted that enclosure open and put my own aftermarket drive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But
so
if we're reaching a point where like, okay, these games need this amount of speed to load properly, and we have to regulate that, or else these games are going to run like shit. I guess I kind of err on the side of like, no, like make a powerful console. Like I kind of don't like I as someone who's still kind of looking for just like what are the next consoles going to offer me that a PC can't do, or what's going to change about the game experience. Like on some level, even though it is like a painful change, I want Sony and Microsoft to be doing shit like this. And they're like, fuck it. Like, we want to go nuts because we want to make this thing good, and not something in 2 years you're going to be like, I already have a PC better than this. Why am I even bothering? So I'm
for
not,
sure. Yeah, I agree.
It's just gonna.
It just comes down to
it could be
price.
super expensive.
Vinny, I get the skepticism, but if you look at the way Microsoft's just been operating in the last few years, I mean, they're letting you bring accessories forward to this thing, like the way the backwards compatibility stuff has been going. Like they seem to be moving to a more like customer-oriented model, to the extent that I wouldn't, and it behooves them to give people easier access to more storage so they can buy and download more games. Like I would be shocked if they are trying to push this as like a high margin product line. So much as something that they want to get out there to people so they can buy more games. I don't know.
Yeah, like a 1 terabyte NVMe drive is like what now? Maybe
like $200. Yeah.
And that's already pricey. So like, I hope it's not more than
you got a custom enclosure. You've got all this whatever custom work they're doing to the drives themselves. On top of that, like there's.
It could be pricey.
But like I think even at $250, that's still substantial. If you're adding it onto a console that like what, is this thing going to be $600?
Like what it seems like. I don't see how it could be less at this point, unless they're just planning to take a hit on it.
Right. And then you factor in just manufacturing lines and everything that's going on over there like that. Who knows? So yeah, I guess like but I'm kind of coming at this and saying like, yeah, for the console price range, which $599 is the kind of the extreme edge of that, I think, in a lot of cases, has been borne out. I want them to go as nuts as they can in that price range, I think.
Sure.
Because like these things need to have a shelf life, and I don't want to, like, I would hate for us to be like 2 years in on this thing and then to go like, hey, by the way, we've got another more powerful thing, and you have to buy another new console to get this whole thing, like they did with the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro.
But they totally will, though. I mean, that's
they may very well do that. Yeah, and
I mean, they'll at least offer one with a higher internal storage, modified. I don't know, Brad, and you guys know more about this. Like as the technology gets better and the manufacturer process gets better, like lower heat inside, lower power consumption.
Yeah, flash density has been increasing pretty rapidly. Like the cost to gigabyte for the last couple of years has been dropping dramatically. So yeah, you could totally see at least like we're gonna get back to the PS3 days of like, here's the 60 gig model and the 80 gig model. Like I'm gonna get the 2 terabyte model Series X now.
Yeah, I mean, it's eventually the Xbox 360 became exactly that. You went all the way down to the Xbox 360 arcade with no hard drive.
Oh shit, yeah.
God, yeah, fuck that. And then all the way up to was it 500 gigs? Was that the last model they did?
Maybe 250 or 5, I forget.
Yeah, I forget what it ended up being, but you could hold a whole lot of games on that thing. So yeah, I mean, obviously they'll refresh the product line as they go and stuff, but I more mean like a straight up power change, like, hey, now this runs these games better because we're bumping up against the limits of this thing already. And
Right.
I hope that when that does happen, I hope it is after a good length of time and people feel like they have gotten their money's worth out of a Series X before going like, okay, now I need to weigh out whether I want to go to the next step up or not.
Totally.
As opposed to feeling like this thing is underpowered and boy, this Xbox One I bought sure does suck ass. I better go buy an Xbox One S or X or whatever just to get off of this thing. It was a bad time this time around for that stuff. So hopefully it's less like that. Controller changes, they've talked about some of this stuff before. Share button, hybrid D-pad, that sort of stuff.
Textured grips and back.
Yeah, which this
Elite does, yeah.
Series 2 has these textured grips on it that feels real nice. So that kind of stippled grip type thing is kind of cool. And yeah,
did they talk about old accessory? I apologize, I didn't have time to look at all of this stuff. I was working on the Doom stuff, but with regard to the controller stuff and the latency there, did they say anything about whether like the software stack is going to make old controllers better?
Yes. So, since the Xbox One controllers take firmware, they are saying that after a firmware update, they will all be compatible with the DLI or whatever their latency, their different processes for handling latency. And then, again, the Digital Foundry story, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of this, I think they do a really good job of it, talking about stuff like button presses are time stamped when sent to the machine, sent to the console, so that they're processing as quickly as possible, like all this sort of stuff. It's a interesting bit of information there, and they get into some other details that I thought were some standout stuff, like Fusion Frenzy with HDR.
Yeah.
Fine.
Bill Gates demanded it.
Bill Gates demanded it. He stepped down from the board because it wasn't coming soon enough. He was just like, no, it's not. This isn't good enough and not soon enough. I want a Fusion Frenzy 3. And they were like, Bill, no. It's like, I'm off the board.
So is it just like it's like dynamically generated HDR on all old games or something like that?
They've basically come up with a method to apply HDR to existing games, and so that was something that they did for Halo 5 on the Xbox One X, and they're just kind of like using some of those, or I guess like they're using, looking at the story here, a machine learning algorithm using Gears 5's state-of-the-art HDR implementation is able to infer a full HDR implementation from SDR content on any back compat title. And they showed a heat map of like, here's how we're kind of changing these tones and all this other stuff. That's fascinating that they are able to do that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I don't know, like HDR is cool. Not like
It is cool.
I don't know that I would call it like a game changer, deal breaker, like one way or the other. But the idea of going back and playing a lot of these back compat games that don't have it, and just going like, oh, the lighting is going to be richer or more interesting. Like I think that's neat.
Geometry Wars.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll take. This is my personal opinion, not the sites, but I'll take HDR over 4K in terms of like new technologies for making stuff look better. I mean, 4K looks great, but I think HDR
that's definitely more noticeable.
I'm with
on a nice HDR TV really looks great.
It's definitely nice, but I guess like I'm coming from the perspective of like I've got this PC here, I can turn this way, and I've got that LG OLED where HDR looks really nice, but I still find myself favoring the PC version of the game for performance reasons, for high frame rate, that sort of stuff. So the actual like resolution versus HDR, I'm over here going like, no, it's frame rate. Like frame rate's the stuff that actually matters. And so that's something they're claiming to be prioritizing again. They're talking, 120 hertz, all this other, like different things that they'll be able to support. And we'll see. Like I would love if this generation ended up being the generation where frame rates finally just got stable and good and like 60 frames minimum.
I'd be happy.
Playing Doom Eternal has been a good reminder of like, this is what it's like to play a game that both looks this good and runs this good.
Right. So actually, how does that run on you're on a PS4 Pro?
Yeah,
right?
it's been pretty much locked 60.
Great.
The whole time.
Great.
It's good.
Yeah.
And we get your FreeSync TV. And then get your HDMI.
This is why I've been banging the HDMI 2.1 drum for like 2 years, because it's gonna have all that shit. Like if you get a TV that's fully compliant, it's kind of like one of these good gaming monitors,
Well, yeah. All right. I think in about a year's time, I'm gonna take this TV I have over here and break it with a bat.
Yeah. That's why I'm
get a new LG.
That's why my TV is 8 years old, because I've been holding it out.
What was it? It's like
Jeff,
the CX or the new OLEDs that they showed at CES, or like instead of just going from 9 to 10, they went from 9 to X, I think, on the numbering scheme.
The Apple method.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell you my HDMI upgrade kit. It's very easy to install.
It's made by Seagate. It's just a little proprietary card.
Just a little thing.
I love it.
Did you guys see Microsoft put out a couple short little tech demo videos of loading times and multi-game restore? They're like 90 seconds each, just little side-by-side comparisons.
Yeah, and the Digital Foundry story gets into that and says like it seems like that'll be limited by how much RAM the games take up.
Yeah,
how many will be able to be stored.
Yeah, I
in
assume
memory
it's like how hibernation works in Windows. I assume they're just kind of writing the contents of memory out to disk.
Yeah, exactly.
And loading it back in.
Yeah,
we've said it before. Like, I hope the TCR, the requirements for game design, take that stuff into account better this time to like have games gracefully restore connections to network and
like everything.
Like
every time you suspend a game and relaunch it, it's just you're relaunching to a network error.
It feels like a crapshoot. Whether a game's actually going to handle it right or not. So I hope that's all designed around this time, because seeing that in practice was super appealing.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Sony, for its part, is going to talk tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at they're giving their GDC talk online since GDC got canceled. Mark Cerny will appear on the internet to give what the PlayStation Twitter account has billed as a deep dive into the PS5's system architecture and how it will shape the future of games.
Do you think they're doing this in response to Xbox?
No, I think this is their. If anything, I think this is Microsoft saying, "Oh, we should get our numbers out there because we're confident that they're higher, and we should get out there before GDC week because we think Sony's going to have something to say in that time frame."
Gotcha.
That's my guess. Either way, this will be the presumably, this may be very well tech focused because of it being something that was originally designed for GDC. But this will probably be the most substantial look at the PS5 that we will have had so far. Right? I mean, the last thing was the logo. They've talked a little bit about their goals, similar goals to Microsoft in terms of like loading and streaming things and streaming in assets and and all that sort of stuff. But they haven't necessarily gone super deep into this stuff. So billing this as a deep dive, I'm curious to see what they end up having to say about.
You think we'll see the box?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
If this is something they're billing as Mark Cerny tells you about the system's architecture, that to me says this is a GDC talk. This is like slides and him telling people about what they think it's going to do and talking numbers, but they don't necessarily have to show the box. But at the same time, where else are they going to show it? There's nowhere else left.
Yep.
You know, they can hold a video. They can run a video whenever they want, though. So, you know, I would have expected that this would have been their GDC talk, and that maybe we would have heard from them again with more like consumer focused details, like before E3, like basically like May or something like that. It would have made sense to me.
I guess
but now everything's kind of up in the air.
Grain of salt on some of the stuff, but one of the lead engineers from id Software was out there quoting that PlayStation tweet this morning, saying something along the lines of, "Yeah, this thing's fucking awesome." And then Jay Schreier of Kotaku quoted that tweet saying, like, "Yeah, I talked to another developer who said it's like the most exciting console in 20 years or something like that." So, grain of salt, I guess, again, but people talking a big game about that thing.
So it's going to play original Doom then. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh man, I hope so. Finally, been waiting. So
long.
Like
I think that's the thing. Like even after this Microsoft stuff, which I think is like very fascinating details, about ways we will play the games we're kind of already playing, and there hasn't really been necessarily a huge part of anyone's story yet that says like, here's how games change. Like you can definitely infer from stuff about like, oh well, it's going to cache off the disk so much faster that like, yeah, things will stream in much more quickly. That there's a lot of things you can do with that when it comes to designing a game. I think I just want someone to step out and say, here's the game we've designed to take advantage of these features, and here's why it's different than God of War. Here's why it's different than the open world game that's out now. Here's why it's different than the last 6 Assassin's Creeds. And all of that sort of stuff. Like here's what this technology will do for you, the player, when these things actually hit shelves. And that's the thing that leaves me still kind of like, it feels like we're not even going yet. You know, everyone's making their pitches and talking all this stuff about numbers and features, and they all sound good, but they all sound like in the same range as a high-end PC, better in some ways with some of this kind of custom hard drive stuff. That they're able to do, smarter in some ways because they're just building one model that everyone will code for instead of having to support a billion different types of PCs, and they'll see some benefits there as well. I just want I want that shoe to drop. I want that bit of information. And here's why all this fucking matters. Right. Here's like 10 games that you could not do on the past generation of hardware, and that's when, you know, Microsoft gets out there and says we're going to support the Xbox One platform for some time to come. I'm like, geez, that's kind of not what I want to hear.
That's what was missing from Stadia. I mean, still is missing from Stadia.
Sure, totally, yeah.
You know, aside from their pitch to people who don't have PCs to run current gen, is for people like me, like, what can you do on these supercomputers that you can't do now? I'm very, very curious to see if now Sony adopts a similar storage architecture that Microsoft is doing with the.
I think it's all but confirmed that it's.
I was gonna say my understanding is that yes, there is. Not about the expansion or any of that other stuff, but that the idea of like, hey, this is maybe like a custom part that is a very fast hard drive, then that's something that differentiates it from current PCs. My understanding is that the PS5 is kind of there with that stuff.
You don't think it'll share the same port?
It could. I mean, I think that would be nice for consumers if that just kind of became a standard. You know, like PCIe 4 is like really
brand new.
It's
brand new. Like there's not many boards out there that even support it yet.
So there's even a possibility that you could see PCs with those ports on them, right?
Definitely, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, wait, are you talking about that specific like form factor that they've come up for that card?
Like, maybe? Could that be the form factor going forward for everyone looking to do PCIe for like external expansion external storage or something? Is that how this will go?
Maybe, I don't know.
Like probably. I mean, I don't see any reason to think that it would, but it's always possible that like we get on the other end of everyone announcing their stuff and go like, oh, it's the same port on everything. Like even some PC motherboards will have something like this on them. So
I think the way stuff seems to be going on the PC is that people are moving to that U.2 connector, which is kind of like what a typical SATA drive looks like for an SSD. Like it's an external package that you mount to your case, and it's a cable that you hook up to the board. It's just that it's an NVMe cord and not a SATA cord.
Right.
So that seems like where the PC is going.
Oh, remember eSATA?
Yeah, kind of like that.
eSATA drive.
Yeah. Tell me about your SAS card.
All I know is that because I went with one of those fancy SSDs when I built this machine, I can only use one of the ports in my machine. So
sure,
one of the
do you remember what color it is?
It's the I can only use the bottom port, and I have my internal capture card plugged into that. So I can't plug any other cards in. External sound card, which I had for a while, weirdly enough.
I think one of the coolest things about ports, I don't know, since I've
just plugging stuff into them, right?
It's like plugging everything. I put everything in there. Now there's like 6 different colored USB ports. Like the SATA ports are all different colors. I got orange, red ports. I don't know. I'm colorblind.
Red USB ports. Yeah.
Everything is
these
weird.
ones are for audio. Like what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get it. It looks cool.
Sure. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's we'll see, man. I want to see what's the difference in pitch from Sony and Microsoft. Like, what will they do differently? Because I feel like everything we've heard so far is that these machines are not all that different from one another. But I don't know. Like, we'll see what that actually means and how that actually goes. I hope Sony has something substantial to say tomorrow. I just really want to know what they're doing more than anything else. So.
I really think that backwards compatibility stuff that's been rumored obviously it can't be like the #1 feature they're pitching, but like from the standpoint of like they haven't had it, like it's just not right. It's something that Microsoft's been heavy into for a while and Sony has not, but also like the PlayStation 1 just turned, was it 25, right?
25.
Yeah. So like, there's like such a legacy of PlayStation games at this point, and if they just come out and say like, "Hey, you can put that Parappa 1 disc in this thing," and it just goes, like any PlayStation game you have will run on this thing.
Yeah, I would love for that to be the case of just like everything works, not the kind of piecemeal. We did the business deals and the work to ensure that these work the way that backwards compatibility has been done on the Xbox.
People would start storming their childhood homes, boxes full of old abandoned PS1 and 2 games and never thought they were going to play again.
Yep, I've got this Kurt Warner Arena League Football Unleashed. I'm just putting this disc in and we're gonna play it.
If you remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about how I forget exactly how it worked, but like the PS2 incorporated the CPU from the PS1 into it, and that's how it was able to run those games. Yeah, I was chatting with Will Smith about that stuff a little bit, and he actually looked up like the transistor counts on those old chips up through the PS3 and was saying like, they could potentially just recreate those chips on the SoC for this thing.
Yeah,
just gonna be a mister in there.
Yeah, exactly. Put a mister in there. The Double Dragon core just got released publicly today.
Perfect.
What more do you need? Just play Double Dragon. So yeah, we'll see what Sony has to say tomorrow. I'm interested to hear more about what they've been working on. Nintendo ran a stream just before this podcast. This seems like this is going to be the week where we see a lot of here's what we were going to do at GDC, and instead now it's a video. Nintendo would normally have an event around GDC to show off some upcoming indie games and have some press there to show that sort of stuff off. They instead well, I guess they would run a video usually also, but they ran their video and announced a handful of games they'll be coming to the Switch. Let's see, I'm trying to think of any of this really jumped. The Good Life from Swery coming to Switch. Quantum League, that time-focused multiplayer shooter that I talked about a couple weeks ago, will come to the Switch. Pixel Junk Eden 2 will be out this summer. Let's see. A new game from Hello Games that is called, what is the, jeez, I don't have the name of it here. The Last Campfire.
Okay. I think they announced that a while back, but maybe that's new for Switch.
Okay, was that announced a while back? Okay, all right.
Also, I want to say they're publishing that. I'm pretty sure they're working with another developer on that.
Maybe they're not developing it. Yeah, it was Sean Murray and someone else in the little clip of the video, so yeah. And then they closed the show with Exit the Gungeon, which was out on Apple Arcade and was already confirmed to be coming to other platforms. But I guess the hook here is that it's out today. So Exit the Gungeon will be out on Switch today if it's not out already.
Or
it's
free?
I think it's on Steam as well.
Yeah, is that on Steam today?
I'm pretty sure.
I know it's coming to other platforms. I just wasn't sure if that was today. Yeah,
that's a phone-shaped game, right? Like a vertical.
No, you play it horizontally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that'll fit fine on phones. They had done controller support for that game off the bat, so it seems like it'd be a pretty straightforward thing. I don't want to throw shade at Exit the Gungeon, but like I'm more throwing shade at like the idea that like that's how they closed their show, was to say, and this game that was been on Apple Arcade for some time is out today on Switch. Like, great.
Can confirm it's out on the eShop now.
Okay, cool.
$10.
Seemed a little thin, I guess I would say. New game from Richard Hogg called I Am Dead. I guess Annapurna is going to put that out.
Speaking of Switch, do you guys see all those outages? People can't get on the eShop. People can't use the online service.
Didn't Discord go down yesterday?
Discord was down for a bit yesterday while we were streaming. And definitely saw some people saying, hey, Xbox Live is having some problems. So I guess like as everyone is home now, just sitting around playing video games.
Steam just hit their concurrent user record. It was like 20 million,
I think is what they ended up hitting. Yeah.
Ben, how many people need to, jokingly or not, suggest that we play Dota on a stream before we actually do it?
Well, now it's locked in.
Oh, man.
I mean, once my PC is back, that'll be the first thing we do.
All right, that's my excuse. You don't have a PC. It's not okay. If there's ever a time for me to play Dota again, it's probably.
Yeah, Jan's getting into Grand Blue. Brad's getting back into Dota. We're all exercising healthy work from home habits.
I'm getting under my desk.
That's healthy.
What are you going to play under there?
I'm going to hide from all this shit. Hide from Dota.
Ben, what's the
sickness out there? Whatever, I can handle that. This window closes, but the Dota is everywhere.
What's the fastest?
Gets into the vents.
What's the fastest way for me to find out when I last played Dota? Is there like a match history?
Oh boy, your Dota buff.
Okay.
Look up your Steam name on Dota buff, and that should tell you.
Dota buff.
Dota buff.
All right. Well, while he's looking that up, everything got canceled in the week since we last talked.
Yep.
It's crazy that was a week ago.
November 2017.
That was
wow, that's beautiful.
I know.
Keep that streak going, Brad.
Yeah.
You don't want to play Dota.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say
Jeff, you should come play with us.
2017?
Yes, it's been 2.5 years since I played Dota.
Come on, I don't buy it.
That's what this says. Last match.
You
Y'all
didn't sneak a hit on somebody else's.
Last match.
Yeah,
November 8th, November 8th,
Brad's
2017.
no way. You definitely saw somebody playing Dota and was like, let me get in there.
Let me just touch just a little bit of that Dota.
They've added and removed things to the map since the last time you
Oh
played.
yeah, I don't have a fucking clue.
No, I mean like they added a thing called shrines, and then they've since removed those in the 2-year span of you not playing. Oh, the Dota cops are here for Brad.
That's right. Dota at the door.
Is, Brad, you got to get in slowly. Oh no, he's not there to hear this good advice.
That's right.
You got to take it slow at first when you get back in, Brad.
Yeah.
Don't want to. You can't handle the same Dota you were at. So you want to go.
Yeah, that amount of Dota will kill you. You got to. Okay, let's start with the basics here. There are 3 lanes. Okay, there's an ancient. Do you know what an ancient is? You got to defend this ancient. You got towers, and there are creep waves. Now these creeps, you don't control the creeps.
What about the jungle? What
about
about
the
the jungle?
You can go fight. You want to level up. Everyone wants to level up. Y'all like leveling up, don't you?
I love
You got to
leveling up.
level up.
30 now.
But here's the disgusting thing: your level resets every game.
It's like a roguelike.
Yeah.
Disgusting. That was actually one of the first things that I learned about Dota back in when this whole thing was happening. I was like, what? Man, fuck that. You have to level up in every match? You start at level 1 in every match? I think if they would have called it something different or found some other way to frame that concept instead of just like you start at level 1 every game, I would have been more interested in Dota. But that was literally the thing. It was like, I'm not moving back. No, I'm not stepping back to do level 1. I was level 1 already.
Well, now there's Dota Plus, which is a service you can pay Valve $4 a month, and you have a hero-specific level, and you unlock voice lines when you play that hero, and that doesn't reset.
All right, now I'm in. now I'm definitely in.
How much money for the good courier? Like I want the cool one.
Ooh,
I
there's
want
like
people to think I went to like some kind of convention. And then,
Oh
like,
yeah,
doing this for all the-
couple 1,500 probably.
Can I buy a bag of
something like
Doritos and it'll get me something good in Dota?
that.
Yeah,
No.
Doritos.
Unfortunately, there has. I don't think there's been much brand tie-in stuff other than going to the international and buying a plush that comes with a code.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, what a bummer. Valve's gonna put out hang on. Valve's putting a video game out next week.
yeah, they put out.
They
Excuse
put out a
me.
few, but I'm saying, I'm not
No,
saying
no,
that it's.
you and Brad both were like, "Oh, I can't believe Valve is putting out a video game," and I had to stand up for Artifacts because
I'm not.
nobody
This
else
is not me
would.
talking shit about Artifact because I'm saying even since then it feels like it's been a long time.
Underlords just exited early access.
Wait, you guys are still talking
Did
about Dota?
No.
No,
Valve's
Underlords
not-
now.
Doritos are better than Dota. In conclusion,
I'll agree with that.
yeah.
Can
I
we
don't have 9,000
just
hours
eat
of
Doritos on
Dorito
stream?
eating experience though.
I just got a bag delivered this morning, so
Did you wash it?
not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
You have to watch
It's
it in
in-
each individual chip.
I put it in the food zone.
Okay.
Around back. You put it in the food zone, and then
that cleans it.
Contaminate it all there. It's
Yeah.
just 72 hours, UV lights, all this whole thing. So everything got canceled. E3 got canceled. The day after we did the podcast last week. I don't even know that there's much to cover here, honestly, at this point.
I can't. It's hard for me to actually comprehend that it's only been since last Tuesday that happened.
Yeah, like we
Right.
were in the office at this time last week.
That feels like
for the last time.
That feels like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it feels like I don't remember what the office looks like. I don't remember how to drive there. It's like none of this makes any sense anymore. It's wild. It's frightening. E3 got canceled. Of course it did. I mean, it was always this was always going to go this way. And South by Southwest got canceled, and all sports got canceled. Yesterday, WrestleMania got moved. The public event got canceled, and now they're having it in an empty building. Which will be fascinating to see.
It's
It makes me want to stand up and say, "Hell yeah!" For sure.
to nobody in particular.
To no one, to absolutely no one.
Taker's gonna get to the ring so fast.
I know. The entrance ramp's gone. He's going to be on a motorcycle, probably. Who
Do you
knows?
think they'll have pyro? Do you think they'll have pyro?
No, I think the roof is too low
Oh no!
for pyro. I
Sparklers?
don't think.
Like,
Is Pyro tall or what's his deal?
Yeah, pyro's huge.
Okay.
He's like 8'2".
he's
and
gone
on
for a
fire.
while.
Yeah,
Came back.
yeah. Pretty wild. And even wilder are the things that haven't been canceled yet.
God,
That's
what's left?
people are, like there's just little things here and there that just people are kind of getting caught out there in different contractual obligation stuff. There's a story on Kotaku getting into some of the stuff around the fighting game scene.
Yeah.
With CEO and NCR event in Orlando, and then NCR happens that's like Santa Clara, right? That's like right in the middle
Moves
of it.
around, but
Mhm.
recently, it's been around Santa Clara.
And kind of small event crews putting these events together, and then being kind of left holding the bag as like a ton of people canceled on that Smash tournament in Orlando.
Yeah.
Right.
And the
then-
weird situation that a lot of these organizers are being put in where the deals that they have with the venues are set up in relation to force majeure. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
When a
Yeah.
city basically tells you have to cancel this rather than
Right.
effectively pulling out, because that means like if they pull out and say we don't want to do this, they have to pay way more money to the venue. Also, like I know for NCR specifically, they are tied to like a 2 or 3 year plan with the same venue, and so if they canceled this year, it would automatically cancel further years, so they'd have to pay for those years as well.
Yeah.
And they'd have to basically liquidate everything: TVs, setups, consoles, all that stuff, just to like not go into full bankruptcy.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and I think that's the sort of thing that when we look at why E3 or some of these, I was like South by Southwest is probably one of them where they were like, nope, we're still going on. Like that has to be a case of like, we're waiting for the city to pull the plug on this so that we don't have to
go bankrupt. Yeah.
We have to go bankrupt. And, you know, of course they're sitting there planning like, well, when they cancel it, we'll give refunds, we'll do all this stuff, but we can't even tip our hand on that stuff right now because we have to let the city cancel on us so that we can get out of these dumb contracts. And yeah, it's another one of those cases where I look at it and just think like, man, like it feels ridiculous to ask companies to be cool, but at the same time, fucking, this is like an unheard of situation. Like, of course, like as the hotel, you should be like, no, of course you're not doing this. And I think in some cases they're like, oh, we're finding ways to give them a break and finding ways to let them out of part of the contract and this sort of stuff. But like the more cities that don't pull the plug on these events it's really wild. And you know, a number of like people have, you know, like canceling weddings and stuff. I know of at least two couples that have had weddings planned. They're just like, shit, we can't do this. And you know, in those cases they're in areas that aren't necessarily getting shut down per se by the city yet or whatever. So they're just like, well, I guess we're just out this money or some amount of this money by postponing.
It's terrible. I mean, there are so many knock-on, like it just trickles down the line from, you know, the people who are doing cabs and gig economy stuff for those events, to caterers, to people who work support for those events.
Right. People that built booths for E3, like sound, people that do audio, like I've rented an audio company that's
people who
like,
cover it. Like, I mean, not just us, but there's a lot
sure.
of people who, you know, look to E3 as a huge deal.
Yeah, a lot of musicians that were looking for like, oh, weather's getting nice. That means it's time to start playing shows, or like studio musicians or people that kind of just play around with whoever. There's like, oh, every show got canceled. Like everything I would do in this time frame to try to make money, try to keep afloat, is now just gone. And that's gonna, like, you know, we're only just now even thinking about that stuff, and that's going to continue to just be more and more devastating, I think, as this goes on. And I'm just like flabbergasted, like thinking about it. I'm just like, I don't even know what to even do. And you know, you've got a lot of people start to float ideas about universal basic income and stuff like that. And
yeah, I just found out before this podcast started that we have 2 free months of internet, which is like literally the least they could do. I saw them removing data caps and stuff early on, and
that's a good
so
one.
It seems like people are starting to roll that stuff out.
Yeah. We'll see how it all goes. It's fucking scary. Pokemon Go doing their part to make things a little less scary.
Yeah. I checked this out actually.
Yeah, they've revamped parts of the game to make it easier to play if you are not moving around, if you are locked down.
Yeah, for a lot of people, like that fucking game is their life. A lot of folks that I've come across here in the Bay Area, like a lot of elderly folks specifically. So them being able to buy incense, which is an in-game item, to force spawn Pokemon around you versus having to go to more densely populated areas is neat. And encouraging people to, I guess, stay at home or limit where they're going. I think also they have refreshed the timer that's on Pokestops, so you can kind of just stay at one if you're located near one or you're near one instead of running around a lot, which is neat, I guess. And it's just such a weird fucking thing that they're also still kind of charging for that item. But that being said, it is just like 1 coin in Pokemon Go.
Not expensive.
Not super expensive.
Okay. Yeah. That's
it's called incense. It's not expensive.
Get it at your local drugstore.
Great. No, do not. Don't go. Don't go to the drugstore unless you have to. Stay inside, goddammit.
I passed by a dispensary yesterday and there was a fat line.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, but a lot of those places like deliver, right? So okay. So here's my question. Before we go to break, we'll come back with emails. What are your thoughts on food delivery? I've been getting a ton of app notifications or emails from every place I've ever been to ever, and they're like, we've transitioned over to a delivery, and we'll do like a contact-free delivery.
We're talking
We'll just
prepared
set
food,
the
not groceries.
Yes, prepared food, not groceries.
Okay.
And it's like I've been getting a ton of this stuff, and there's like, hey, you can get sushi and do all this stuff, and I've just been like, I don't. People got to make that food. I don't know. Are those people okay? Like
Wash your sushi.
yeah. If you walk that through, you're like, a bunch of people got to touch the packaging. A bunch of people got to touch this, and you can go down that road with groceries also. Like, yeah, it's okay. Okay, maybe you don't like touching the bags, but like someone put that food into that bag.
That's true. I know, but you've got to assume that they're taking precautions, above and beyond what they
Yeah.
normally do, I would
You would
think. And this does help that industry, to help them
Totally.
stay afloat.
Totally.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you don't feel comfortable with that, I've seen a lot of people floating around buying gift cards or gift points for
Right.
restaurants that you want to support, and then cashing those in once this all blows over.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. I hadn't even thought of that.
But then you're going later when they're open and not giving them new money.
True.
You're cashing
Yeah.
in old money.
Yeah.
So it'd almost
who
be
knows
like
that-
you should take that gift card and then just say, hey, split this gift card up into cash and give it to the people who work for you or something. I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
Well, Brad.
But-
Okay, Brad. You know a lot about science. You're a science
don't,
man.
Don't put me on the spot.
What what's the temperature this thing can live at? Right? If I'm cooking a pizza,
I meant to look that up yesterday and I forgot. It seems like it prefers on the colder side.
all right. Can I
There's
can I
a-
cook this thing?
Probably. Yeah. Yes. For
All
sure.
right. If I replace my oven light with a UV light and let it sit in there, can I disrupt the reproductive properties? Can I sterilize the virus and then cook it and then eat a pizza?
Apparently, it's not
That's all
even
I need.
catching on like closer to the equator. Like there's a pretty narrow latitudinal band that happens to be right around where we are, where it's the worst. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're saying I should turn my heater up,
Yes.
keep the house hot.
Oh, that's terrible. I don't like this. No,
How
don't
can
do
you tell
that.
your
All right,
temperature?
turning that up to 85. I'm going to
Yeah.
strip naked. Let's get streaming.
Jeff has a fever immediately.
Also, higher humidity apparently helps as well. So just run your shower all day.
Ugh.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
Yes. So they sell those. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. They sell little UV ovens for curing things, like to
Yes.
cure
Yes.
that stuff.
Oh.
I wonder if you can put food in there. I'm not endorsing this because I don't know about it, but you can stop. You could disrupt the DNA. of
Dump
something
my
that's like
pad
UV.
thie into this UV oven before I eat it.
Well, it's not the food though. It's the containers, right? Like you
Well, you
know,
can wipe down a container.
right. I can't wipe down a food, but also like food generally seems, according to what the CDC said and some of the other stuff I was looking at. A guy I know sitting, but it sounds like actual food is not the issue. It would be, whatever containers it's in, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So
unless somebody like directly sneezed on your food or something.
yeah. And like, what's the weather in Australia right now? Because Tom Hanks got it. He was down there.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's the
I guess-
opposite of whatever it is where you are.
Yeah, I thought it was summer there. I don't know how warm it is though. So
Hey.
math is hard. Weather's harder.
it's the opposite.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
Okay. So the toilet flushes the other way.
Yep.
They get a beneficial virus that makes it so money shoots out of their lungs. It's great.
They get an
Um,
evil Tom Hanks. It's terrible.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. it's
Omega
really
Tom
hard.
Hanks from
Look for
Mugen.
the helpers so that I can break them. All right. Why don't we take a break and we'll come back with some B-mails.
All right.
Oh no.
Yeah. You heard it right. B-mails. We'll be back. And we're back. Hi, everybody. It's time for the part of the show where we hear from you, the listener, via Bombcast. What was it? Bombcast at giantbomb.com. You send an email address or send an email to that address, and you might get your emails on the show, or you might get your B-mails on the show.
What?
That's right.
Whoa.
Ben Pack picking out the mails.
Are you guys adding it in post or?
Yeah, you're not hearing in your headphones.
Hey everyone. Okay, email bombcast at giantbomb.com if you want your email read, like Mock from Dartmouth, who says, "Hi bombers. You wake up tomorrow and are granted a special power. This power is the ability to duplicate anything that you have touched. Here are the restrictions. When you wake up and before you can use the power, you have to choose no more than 3 things that you want to duplicate. These can never be changed once you choose them. You cannot duplicate anything living, and you cannot duplicate serialized items such as dollar bills, gold bars, cars, consoles, etc. You could, example, choose a fried egg, a slice of cooked bacon, and a buttered slice of toast, and then you would forever be able to produce breakfast for yourself or others. What 3 things would you choose, and what would you do with your power?
I'd probably open up a fancy steakhouse, and then I'd like duplicate fancy steaks, and it's the
Just
only
3 different
one.
types of steak, 3 cuts.
Yeah, it's the only one. You can't get it whatever way you like it. We only sell it medium rare.
Some steakhouses do that. They don't even let you choose. Like, really.
Well, there we
fancy
go.
ones.
Or answer. No, open up a fancy one that you have to cook your own and just have raw meat.
They have
Then
that.
they're yeah, they have that. They totally have that.
Hmm.
They're on the hook for it then.
Hmm.
I just want more pizza rolls. At any
Pizza
given
rolls?
time.
3 different pizza rolls.
3 different combination.
Maybe like
pizza
2 and a dipping
cheese.
sauce.
No,
No.
just 3 different.
You can always
pizza
supply
rolls.
your own dipping sauce. You know,
Wait, you
Yeah.
guys use dipping sauce for pizza rolls?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Oh,
can
am
see
I
like a
in the minority
marinara
here?
sauce. I can see like a marinara.
Sure.
Marinara ranch.
What? Oh god.
Spicy
Would
ranch.
All
avocado
natural.
ranch.
Would a stock count as a serialized item?
I would say.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
So I couldn't
probably
do.
number
I couldn't
those.
suddenly just like own Apple because I kept duplicating enough stock to have majority share, right?
Wouldn't it be the same stock?
Yeah.
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 Yes. But wouldn't it be that it would be a slightly different stake though?
Aren't you just going to dilute it if you keep adding stock?
Who cares? Do I
Yeah.
get ownership? So
At a certain point, you cross that 50%.
Yeah. Okay. So how about if
A gold
I was
nugget.
'cause I was thinking like a rare item, but then the same thing would happen, right? Like if you were like, oh, I found the first Bible, and now I can sell. Who wants to own that? But then, or like a dinosaur, T-Rex skeleton.
Here's some
but
more
then-
T-Rex skeletons for you.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
what
everybody's
happens
like,
is you sell the first Bible to like a guy for whatever, $1 trillion.
$1 trillion,
and then you're like, well, I actually found a whole cove of them, and now everyone can get one for $15.
Oh, yeah. You sell them to all the churches in the world.
Replica Bibles. This is the real Bible. It's got the real shit in it. The books that they didn't want you to read.
Special
no, everybody can
forward.
know.
Yeah, the new Luke 11 is really gonna fucking blow your mind, man.
Oh, you know what? Maybe the best. The Jeff, maybe you can help me on this. The best CRT TV that is like because everybody's worried about CRTs, right?
Yeah, sure. That'd
where
be
are
a
we gonna
useful
get them?
thing to
Falling
have.
out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And now we can put it. Everybody can have one. They're dirt cheap. Everyone can have one. Old games live on.
Yeah. Did you say no gold?
No gold bars,
No
but
gold bars, but
you
just
probably
like
get a nugget.
yeah.
What about a precious
But again,
gem?
this would run into an issue where eventually, I mean, you could probably make enough money for yourself, but eventually, you're gonna
Exactly.
inflate
Yeah.
the
Eventually,
market.
you're going to crash the market and destroy the system, which that sounds good too.
What about the moon?
What about the
what about-
Hoarders? Hoarders are not serialized.
I will
dollar
say,
coins.
as a tall person, just like a nice shirt, some nice pants, and some nice shoes. I don't care that they're going to be the same forever, but make them fit right, and I will wear those clothes to the ends of the earth.
I got to say that bacon, eggs, and toast answer is sounded pretty good to me.
It's also really good.
What about like a really nice like tiger, like a little statue of a tiger? You just say tiger, and then you got a tiger.
You could save an endangered species this way.
Yeah. Well, no, no
No,
living
you-
things.
no living things.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, is the Earth alive? Can we just clone the Earth?
Whoa.
No
I
thanks.
would not want to.
Yeah. More Earth.
Oh, just
Where are you going to
But
put
imagine-
Already so much.
I put it right next to this one, so you could jump over. It'd be like touching.
I think
Make
that might
everyone-
pick up like I don't
Maybe
know.
like a chain
over-
connecting the two, like the intro to Sonic CD. You can
Yeah.
run on the chain to get to the other one.
Think about
I
all
would
the
love to watch
what
what would happen with gravity and all that.
and then like one Earth is just like, oh, don't forget this Earth is the bad Earth. We just frack this Earth forever, right? Who cares about that's terrible Earth. Nobody goes there. And then this Earth, who cares? We just mine oil on this one. This one's 120 degrees because nobody cared about global warming on this. And then we just have so many Earths, we don't even care anymore.
What about the
This is my Earth.
For a while.
No. I mean, listen, if you want to, but there's so many Earths, you can live wherever you want.
That sounds like a crisis in the
Like an Earth
Sounds like a
crisis.
comic book.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Crisis
a crisis of Infinite Earths. That's what that sounds like.
I think I solved it. I figured it out. And then everything is duplicated at that point, right? You duplicate the whole Earth.
That's just wishing for more wishes.
That's right. Except for any living thing, which I guess it would just be a barren rock at that point. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, you wouldn't. No grass. No
grass.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna keep these emails light. I don't have any virus related things except this one, which I thought was an interesting question. Hey guys, both my wife and I are effectively quarantined due to the virus, but have been in places. Skip forward a little bit. We decided to play the new Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. The game is pretty fun, but it got me thinking about how there is a good chance that the Olympic Games will be postponed or canceled for this year. My question is, has any other video game ever been made for an event that ended up never happening?
That Spy Hunter game that was supposed to be based on the Spy Hunter movie that never happened.
What was? Was that with The Rock?
Yeah.
It's a shame we never got that.
I know.
I'm sure it would have been very good.
I know.
Apropos of very little, that you just made me start thinking about the Wheelman.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The Wheelman is always right there. When you talk about that Spy Hunter, the Wheelman is not far behind. I should find my copy of the Wheelman.
Should stream the Wheelman.
Yeah.
Wheelman's all right.
Yeah. I'm trying to, stuff for like canceled events. Well, I mean, all the baseball games this year.
Yeah.
The football game this year, probably.
Yeah.
The
That
WrestleMania
XFL game
set,
I was working on.
the stadium for WrestleMania this year will.
Do you think they put the Performance Center into this year's video game?
Oh.
Yes.
I feel like it has to be there already, right?
Maybe for like a story mode thing, but yeah, maybe it was in there already. Yeah, because they probably use it in story mode. But they should maybe not do one of those games. What if they just didn't make one and then took some time off to actually make a better one?
Never gonna happen.
Never. No. Okay. All right. Forget it. Forget I said anything. All right.
We got another email in from Pat in Sumner, Washington. Pat says, "Hello, Duders. Had a memory pop into my head from when I was a kid. I took a school field trip to the local water park where they had personnel walking around wearing LCD screens on their chest, and sitting on a platform around their waist was a GameCube. At the time, I paid no attention to myself and a friend. I paid no thought to myself and a friend playing Melee deep inside this guy's personal bubble, but now think of how incredibly awkward it must have been for that poor worker. That is not to mention how heavy the power source must have been that sat on his back, or presumable hazard of wearing all of that at a water park." They don't end with a question, but I wanted to propose a question to you. If you had to strap a console to yourself and walk around and have children play it, what would it be?
Typing of the Dead. Dreamcast, the Typing of the Dead. Have the keyboard right here. Dreamcast strapped to my back. That full look. The full Typing of the Dead look. That's what I want.
I would just roll up 2 DDR mats under my arm
Ooh,
and drop them down.
Walk up to like two people, unfurl them, and make them battle each other.
It's like in Beetlejuice when he turns his arms into the big hammers and you just kind of roll your arms out into DDR mats.
I think the really interesting thing about that story is Nintendo was doing that until 5 years ago, strapping consoles to people, walking them around.
E3 for sure.
God, yeah,
in our office.
Definitely among the most awkward E3 moments of my life was having to play a 3DS chained to a lady. About
they brought that. That was
totally.
When I was an intern. That happened. They brought them there, and I was like, "Oh my god, video games are fucking crazy, man! They just got ladies walking around with DSs strapped to them."
Oh, what a weird fucking world.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. All right, next email.
Next email, I have to find it. Forget it. I'll click on this one. This one comes in from Kevin.
Kevin.
And okay, this is a bit of text, but we're going to get there together. In response to an email read during episode 625 of the Bombcast, Jeff mentioned optical drive emulator, ODEs, something I've been thinking about for a while now. I live in a small studio apartment in the Bay Area, and I'm looking to reclaim some space by wall mounting most of my electronics. Since newer game consoles are designed with both horizontal and vertical orientations in mind, I have no concerns about wall mounting most of my newer consoles and even my older cartridge-based consoles. I'm hesitant to wall mount my Dreamcast and Saturn, however, as I recall older consoles such as Dreamcast and PlayStation 1 having optical drive issues even in their regular upright positions, with the remedy involving turning them upside down to allow consoles to read discs again properly. Do you think wall mounting Dreamcast or Saturns vertically would cause their optical drives to suffer additional wear and tear beyond what they'd incur in their regular horizontal orientations? With ODEs already available for Dreamcast and a plug-and-play ODE solution called the Satiator that plugs directly into the MPEG card slot on the Saturn that's currently in beta, I'm tempted just to go the ODE route.
I would go that route anyway. At this point, at this stage, I don't know if that would cause issues if you bolted it to a wall sideways. That might actually take, because the problem with the PlayStation wasn't it that the whatever was holding the stuff in place would weaken and not be held there anymore, like it would sag or something. And so if you turned it upside down, it took all of that weight off of it and made it fine. So by putting it vertically, wouldn't you take like half that, with some amount of that weight off? It'd be easier for it to move in and out than it would be to up and down purely against gravity. I don't know, but
you think they should go with this beta solution?
Well, the satiator, I don't even think you can get it right now. It's
Okay.
been in development for a long time. There are other solutions for Saturn that are, a little more in depth than that will be or is or whatever. I've been waiting for that thing for a long ass time. I don't know when it's supposed to be available. But it seems like a lot of people who wanted some solution like that just said fuck it and bought a Phoebe or Rhea or whatever they are, the other Saturn solutions. So I might go one of those routes depending on what your comfort level is with either the soldering or waiting for the other thing. That's
all right. From a very technical question to another. Hey, if Mario and Sonic ended up being roommates in college, what do you think their relationship would be like? This is from Joe.
They would have a few awkward nights that they don't talk about a lot, but they cherish secretly.
Do you think Mario is a good student? I feel like Mario would be a good student, and Sonic would be a real shithead, and also probably never goes to class.
Yes, that's how I picture it. Is that Mario is the goody two shoes, and Sonic is hitting him up for money because he's got to stay in. He needs this.
Yeah, he's almost like Mario's almost like an older brother kind of to him, but like that kind of sort of shameful. Like I want the best for you, but
I'm thinking Mario's like a chump. Just be like, come on, Mario, come on. There's gonna be plenty of people. Peach is gonna be there.
I guess.
Gonna be there.
Mario just tries to always see the best in people. You can't.
He's like, Mario, you've got a mustache. You're the only one who has a mustache. Just go buy beer. Just don't be. You're such a loser. Your brother will do it. Luigi will do it. He'll do it. He'll do it.
Luigi, he won't get carded.
That's right. That's right.
I feel like having Sonic as a college roommate would come in very handy whenever you needed to make a food run, whenever you needed to just
but you'd have to pay for it though.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that shit for free.
And he'd be so fucked up that he'd run to the wrong place. He'd run through a building. He's perpetually fucking wasted.
I'm on my last ring, man. I just need some. Give me some cash.
Yeah.
One more ring and I'm dead. You don't get it. And then Mario's just like, he's like a goody two shoes, but then like once in a while he'll like walk into a spike trap just to become small and walk around and like hide in a corner and listen to everybody. It's like a real voyeur thing for him, just like tiny Mario.
It's the only way he can finish.
But then he gets really into drugs in his sophomore year.
Yeah.
He's taking shrooms all the time.
Yeah, he's fucked up. He's big. He's real big. He's just getting bigger.
He goes on one bad trip and he's just making all the like Mario 64 sounds over and over.
Has a bad
I feel like
dream
I've
about
been
throwing
around
vegetables.
someone who was having that trip and making noises like that. So maybe that's just real. All right, you got anything else?
I do. Oh, you mean on this subject or?
Oh,
Because I could go for like the rest.
all right. Yeah, give me 10 more minutes on this. Go.
Next email comes in from Jay in St. Paul, Minnesota,
All
who
right.
effectively asks, if you were a robot master in the vein of a Mega Man, what would be your blank man name and what would be your power?
Fuck, man.
And your power?
Power.
Yeah, what's your power?
Fuck, man.
Like what weapon do I get after I defeat you?
It's a mess.
Titanium hips.
I don't know what
Get
man,
equipped
what,
with hump laser.
what man has not been done. I think right around the time they got up to one that was a snake, I was like, all right, this is bullshit.
Arrow Man.
Yeah, what?
But I mean, what about you, Brad? What would you drop if somebody
I
were
would
to
be,
defeat you?
I'd be person man, and then they might be giants just plays every time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like
I'll
it.
be Triangle
Well,
Man, and we can
That's
hang
a
out.
good way to get some money.
All right, real question: bubble lead or bubble lead?
Bubble lead is what I
Lead.
was.
Really?
Yeah, I always said.
Yeah.
I always said bubble lead.
I think I always said bubble lead.
I would
I
never.
don't think
use it
either
to
of them make
support
sense.
No.
it. Yeah.
Sorry, did you have something?
Nope.
Okay, well, as punishment for nobody answering that email,
I answered it.
I'm going to read one that I wasn't going to read because
Kool-Aid Man. I'd be Kool-Aid Man. You could break through the level and just get to the boss immediately.
Oh yeah. Next email comes in. Dylan in North Carolina. Jeff's awe at the existence of a megawatt is a frequent and sporadic memory of mine as a person who began exploring the wild, wide world of WADs over the past few years. In light of this, I thought you would all like to know that as of 2019, there is an 11-map WAD available for Doom 2 called Sib's Freaky Colonoscopy. I haven't gotten very deep into it, but the UAC is probing the cyber demon with the intention of shrinking Doom Guy to microbe size so he can kill the ass demons that have infected the cyber demon's anus. If you thought megawads were as weird as things got, think again. Oh, also, there's H-Doom. I think I figured out what that means, but I don't want to say it.
Probably.
Hell yeah,
Ass
dude.
demons is my
Hell
answer
yeah,
for the
dude.
previous question.
Ass Demon Man.
Yeah.
Demons
Typing
running all
H
through
Doom
me.
into a search right now.
Oh yeah. Save
Brad,
some
Jeff,
off
are
and
either of you
search.
familiar
Oh.
with the colonoscopy Doom mod?
I'm not.
I've not seen that.
I'm not familiar with that, but that sounds great.
Sound like something you would want to play?
Oh wow, there is some stuff out there. Huh?
Really?
Yeah. Just landed on the H Doom guy. Twitter. Never mind. Let's move on.
All right, moving on. Peter's got a question here. A few weeks ago, Walmart Canada inadvertently leaked some highly anticipated figures on their site ahead of the New York Toy Fair, much to the chagrin of a few toy companies. This reminded me of the great Walmart Canada leaks of 2018 and got me to wondering what happens when distributors accidentally leak unannounced games or content. Is there any behind-the-scenes recompense on behalf of the stores, or have publishers and developers just accepted that leaks are bound to occur and just hope that they can minimize it where applicable?
I think if I had to guess, I'd say that like the publisher to retailer relationship is such that it would be like the publisher calling them and going, "Come on, come on, but
Wagging their
please
finger a
buy,
little.
but please buy more copies of our game," and like trying to like maybe parlay it into like, well, I guess you should have to take more copies then, huh, right, and then the retailer's going like, okay, whatever. Maybe that's a little different these days, especially if you think about like where GameStop is at and some other stuff like that. But I feel like that'd be how that would have gone.
I think you're right. I think there's what realistically
Yeah,
can
are they
you
gonna,
can't like prove
fine
monetary
them? Yeah, it's
damages or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Got another question here. A recent event in the MMO Adventure Quest 3D saw a Breaking Benjamin concert perform within a dungeon entitled Breaking Benjamin Battle Concert. What I gathered from the event page, the text right at the beginning explaining who Breaking Benjamin are and that they're currently on tour with Korn.
Ooh.
A bunch of players are put into an arena with Breaking Benjamin on stage performing while monsters attack. My question is, what games, moments, or boss battles could be improved with a musical act unexplainably performing with in-game avatars nearby? Regards, Sam from Melbourne.
Whoa.
Like all of a sudden the band like pops up or something, and then like during the boss fight, like any boss fight would benefit from something like that.
What's a band you would like to see pop into a boss fight?
E40.
E40.
Yeah, like can you imagine Shadow of the Colossus, and then E40 comes out, and then whatever you're fighting starts doing donuts.
Is E40 sized the same as your character, or is he the size of one of the Colossuses?
It's even bigger.
Yeah, he's big.
Wait, what are you going to climb on then?
E40 to hop over to the Colossi.
Yeah. Just a giant bear Colossus, and then E40 is shouting at you to "Don't help me, help the bear."
Yeah, you have to
As he
time out
fights
the
the
jumps.
bear.
The time out that jumps to his mouth when he goes ooh, and like the sonic waves will push you over to the Colossus.
And then everyone gets Fat Burger. It's great.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Merton Hanks.
Somebody else do an answer. I haven't loaded up the next email.
All right,
What's music?
All right. What if beans were the size of potatoes? Matt in Colorado. Go.
Oh, man.
Wait, sorry. What was that one?
What if beans were the size of potatoes?
Then imagine how big burritos would be.
I like this a lot. I like this a lot.
As baked beans now, you just take one bean and bake it?
Yeah.
How many beans do you think is in your average burrito? Well, it depends on which kind of burrito we're talking, but like the mission style.
30.
100 beans.
100?
No.
200 beans.
100 beans.
Now imagine that many potatoes in a pile, and then imagine a burrito that would fit all of that. That's like as big as you.
They call that a good start.
Do you think beanbag chairs would be affected?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You would just sit on a bean. You go, this is uncomfortable.
Are potatoes the size of beans in this, or just beans?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So potatoes became very small.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
That's the thing. I like potatoes.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
But then you could start putting potatoes in your burritos easier.
Yeah, but then French fries kind of suck. They're tiny.
Can you
You
make
have to mash
fries
up all
out
the
of
potatoes
beans?
and then reconstitute them into French fry shapes. You could probably still do it.
You
You
just
just
that's
need a
probably what they
mold of
do.
some kind. Yeah, right. Yeah. You think they're just cutting potatoes into French fry shapes? Come on.
No. There's that one scene in that Disney, geez, I forget which one it is, where they're all slicing the bean really thinly. Remember that one? 'Cause they're
Yeah.
all
What is
starving? Yeah. What is that? Jack and the Beanstalk?
Yeah, they're trying to
it
cut the
is.
magic bean and it flies out the window.
Well, they're eating.
No.
Yeah, maybe. Or
They're trying to
eating
eat
for
it.
dinner.
They tie a
Yeah.
string around it or something. They try and cut it that way or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Holds
I don't know,
up.
man. Yeah, I bet. All right. Unless you have one more email ready right now. That's the end of the show.
Hey, Bomb Crew, after the conversation about Girl Scout cookies on the work from home stream, it got me thinking, if the Boy Scouts made cookies, what flavors would they be? Thanks, Andrew in Rochester.
Worm and tobacco
Mountain
spit.
Dew.
Yeah.
And homophobia. What do we? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I
tastes
imagine
like
a lot
hemp.
of extreme flavors.
Lots of sour stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be one that's really dry because you have to learn how to tie knots.
Yep. And if you can't tie the knots, you don't get to eat it all.
You have to start a fire and make your own cookies.
Huh.
DIY.
Fuck
Mint.
that. I got all these do-si-dos here. Why would I even? Yeah,
You got do-si-dos?
Which one's a do-si-do?
Coming over.
the peanut butter sandwich cookie,
man.
not the.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah, those are the best ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
those
are.
are the best ones.
Like a Samoa.
That's Samoa. That's the best one.
Those
We
are
can't
second
get
best.
Samoas here because last year we got Samoas while my wife was pregnant, and she does not want to be near Samoas ever again.
You just keep your
So-
stash in your office there.
Yeah, I'm not a big Samoa guy either.
Okay.
I'm a
The
big
new
Samoa
s'mores,
guy. I'm
the
not a
new
big Samoa
s'mores
guy.
cookies need more filling.
Yep,
They're terrible.
they're not great.
They're not
Nice.
great. The taste is okay, but they're too dry.
Yeah.
And need more of that juicy juice.
Need more juice. We need more s'mores juice
Some more yum yum.
in there.
Give 'em
All
the
right, well that's
smokes.
gonna do it for the show this week. Thanks to all you s'mores juice fans out there for emailing in. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address, and that's it. So yeah, we're gonna try and cobble together some kind of after show here. We have some audio stuff that we don't have quite over the hump just yet, so that'll be a little different. But yeah, we're gonna do that, Ben and I, and then we will be streaming for the
We're gonna-
foreseeable future.
Alex and I are trying to figure out the Mass Alex stuff. It probably won't be live. It'll probably still be premium. We're trying to figure it out. Keep it going. He's got the PC. He's got the assets. Think we've got the means.
He's got balls and his word.
Yes.
You don't break them.
And then we're I think you mentioned earlier trying to track down some of that Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna find us a copy of Animal Crossing.
Check out the Doom quickly.
Yeah, I think we'll. Yeah, there's a video of Doom up. I think we'll do some more stuff with Doom later in the week.
Yeah, I
play Doom.
want to see that multiplayer stuff. I
we
heard
should-
it was all right.
We should try that multiplayer. I have got a copy of Doom 64 installed on my PlayStation 4 that
Yo.
Weird.
we might take a look at.
Yeah.
So
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
who can
I didn't
say?
realize you had hacked your PS4.
Who can say?
Doom 64. Give me a fucking break. Oh, all right. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Giant Bombcast, Giant Beastcast, coming to you Thursday.
Thursday, we were thinking about doing it live. I mean, we might do it live. We probably wouldn't do it with cameras, though. I don't think we're ready for that because then there's an expectation that we'll always have video cameras. But I don't know. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we're figuring out. I mean, this
A lot of
seemed to
shit
work
going
okay.
on.
I enjoyed this, but maybe we'll do it live. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to try new things. Sometimes when you try new things, you realize they were better, and that's always fun, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
this worked. This was
This
a cool
works.
way to
And
do
sometimes
this.
you try new things and you're like, this was like
So-
seat of our pants and exciting, but boy, I can't wait to fucking be back somewhere where there's stuff.
Yes. Yes. You
Yeah.
spend many years refining a process and then throw that
Yeah.
away and try
And then
something
throw the process out the window and go like, how much of this process can we replicate somewhere else? Up, cops.
Dota cops are back.
Cops.
Cops.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about. I'm Astro sent these headphones over because we were talking about headphones a few weeks ago, and
You're a real streamer now.
I'm trying these out to see if they're any good. And then I bought this. This showed up. I need to hook it up. You want to get professional streamer?
Uh huh. Wow. That's a big light.
Oh wow.
It's not a ring light.
I thought they were smaller.
I don't know where I'm
No,
gonna
they're
put it. I
huge.
thought it was smaller.
Yeah. It's large. It must be smaller in the box. Are there two of them in there?
No, I think there's just one in there, but it's got a pole in there as
Okay.
well. So I assume it is not as big.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm gonna set this light up and see where that goes. I got that portable green screen around here somewhere. I need to
Watch out.
do all that, and then I'm still trying to play VR games in this room, which has not gone well.
Sure.
And so I've been like trying to get ready for like, oh, at some point we might want to do Half-Life Alyx because it's not like we're going to be in the office ever again. And I don't know how we're going to do that because I can't really readily do that stuff in here. I don't know what we're going to do for that game. I don't know what we're going to do for that game. Still TBD. So
A lot of TBDs.
yeah, but we're thinking about it at least. So that's that.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
anytime.
That's great.
Good to see you.
Fun. It's a fun podcast.
Good to
Thank
have
you, Vinny.
fun to have a hat podcast. A hat party here.
Yes.
And Vinny had the grandest hat of them all.
Cheers.
Okay, we'll be back with the after show in a little bit. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Giant Bombcast, and we'll be live on Twitch for the foreseeable future. Hang tight, everybody. Stay safe. Be careful.
Wait, can you stop this? Can you stop this thing, or does Brad have to stop this
No,
thing?
Brad has to stop it. Wait, I
Yeah,
don't think
we can't.
actually-
No, we
can't
can't
even-
stop this thing.
And that's the show. All right, that's where he should cut it. But,
And
Oh, there
that's
he
the
is.
show.
and that's the show. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. And that's the show.
Oh, you guys are still going?
God damn it, man. You're the one that has to stop it.
Okay, fine. Bye. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Had to run back upstairs. See you guys next week.
See ya.